Hello, and welcome to the Mild and Lazy Guys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And on today's episode, we have a guest with us making his second appearance. We're happy to have him back. We'll introduce you to him in a second. But before we get started, can I please ask you to go give us a follow on Spotify, and please leave a rating and review on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts. It really helps us. You can also follow us on Instagram at Mild and Lazy, where we do have a merch link if you want to get some merch for Christmas. We got the merch link there. What?
I'm not doing anything.
Oh, I thought you had to say something. For today's show, we've got some interesting stories in the junk mail, to maybe get into some territory we don't necessarily get into usually. In our Mount Rushmore, we are reviewing we are going over our Mount Rushmore of players' careers or primes that were cut short or ended too early. We'll have Pick Your Poison. We'll have questionable behavior from the internet. We are also reviewing the 1995 cult following, cult classic, Friday. That was a fun one to do. I just finished watching it.
Me too.
And then we'll finish up with some sports and what are we watching and what are we listening to. But let's get started. So, like I said, we have the great Alex Carter in the house with us for the second time. Alex, thanks for coming in, man. I know it's a long drive.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I was thinking that on the way here. Y'all just know how much I love y'all sitting in the fucking traffic.
I hated driving to your place.
It sucks. Dude, it sucks. Dude. Think about Friday, 5 o'clock traffic.
Right. No, we appreciate you driving down. And
oh, no, anytime.
He did come bearing gifts, and we appreciate it, and I gave him one.
Yes, sir.
I ended up giving him like a little Emmitt Smith rookie card I had laying around. I got graded for him.
I just love the grading service on top of it being an Emmitt Smith card.
And speaking of gifts,
it's now official.
Oh, I get it right off the bat?
You get the pinky ring. Now we're just
Doesn't
three white guys with glasses wearing pinky rings.
Dude, do you have deodorant too?
Yeah, and I told you guys I found the world's best deodorant.
Do we smell?
No, I just want you to live your best life.
Well, I for
so
sure
that's the kind that I bought.
Oh, that smells
look at that. It's all natural. What's it say? Like, no what?
Juniper berry?
No aluminum, parabens, or phthalates.
Whatever that is, there's none of it in there.
Yeah, that's good.
So I bought that, and I just had to tell you guys, and I was like, I bet they would appreciate that deodorant. So pinky ring and deodorant, you get something every time.
I appreciate
I bought so many. I was like, I'm just gonna stock up on this in case it goes out of stock. So I had like 5 in there. I was like, I bet those boys want some. So I still got some more in the backup.
Man, you're looking out for
and when we get off air, because it'll take a while, you got all these stickers, because apparently I have too many stickers. So feel free to look through that later.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Add some more.
So everybody got something.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
What have you been up to, Alex?
Not much. Just a bunch of working and watching sports. So
sounds like you're living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't have kids.
Y'all been busy with the
little
little
ones? Right
ones?
out the window.
Yeah.
All that's gonna get cut back.
Yeah, your little one's he's due what, in a month?
Less than a month. Yep. Probably be sometime this month.
Yeah, you were saying a little bit earlier, right?
I think so. I think it's going to be a big baby. Claire set the record at her hospital when she was born. She was almost 11 pounds.
Jesus.
She was a big fucking baby. She nearly ruined her mother. And then
she was never the same.
Yeah. Yeah, because her sister was a C-section. So really they were like, look, if you do that again, you're going to ruin it down there. So and then Elizabeth was like 8 pounds, 6 ounces, and they consider that a big baby. So they were like,
healthy.
Starting now, I think she goes this week, and then every week after that, they're going to check the size of the baby.
On watch.
Yeah, and they'll be like, if it gets too big, we'll induce. So I'm like, hey, if you have to induce before Christmas, I'm all for that. Gets me off of work, gives me that tax break. So I'm hoping for a December baby.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go. Today was the first time I kind of noticed she's like really showing now. Like the past few weeks,
very pregnant.
Oh, she hasn't been?
Not to me.
Yeah.
Not to me. Like, yeah, you could tell she was pregnant, but I saw her, before we started recording.
Yeah, she's got like back pain. You know what I mean?
She is
and like
pregnant.
organs, like everything gets pushed up.
Yeah.
Like she's extremely pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant. So
what can I say? She can't keep her hands off. That's what she gets. I tried to warn her. I said, I'm extremely good at this. You know what the outcome's going to be.
Making babies?
She couldn't keep her hands off me. So
other than baby and dealing with pregnant women, what have you been up to?
Well, I went to the doctor That was all right. I told him I had a sore throat, so I had to wait in my car and get a strep test and get a COVID test, all negative. Got blood work done. They told me I just have high cholesterol. Made them confirm I'm not dying.
Eat some Cheerios.
Yeah, I told them I was 3 times. I was like, I'm not dying, right? I'm good. Yeah. They're like, no, high cholesterol. They're like, cut back on processed foods. Don't drink and smoke as much. They didn't say anything about weed, though. They were pretty cool about that because I was straight up on everything.
You were open with it?
Of course I was. She was like, any marijuana use? And I said, I have not smoked today yet. And she's like, anything else? I was like, I will smoke when I get home. She goes, how much do you smoke a week? I said, I smoke every day. She's like, is it just weed or anything else? I go, weed or edibles, whatever I got.
Lady, I'm not smoking meth. Okay?
I was like, but I told her, I was like, nothing else. I didn't, there's no point in me telling her like I like take mushrooms every once in a while but I told her, I had drinking problems in the past and I'm trying to quit smoking cigarettes. Have an exit plan for that. That should be by the end of the year.
New Year's resolution?
No, it'd be before that. So I got that new route I was talking about.
Yeah.
And with the route I have now, with all the driving, I have like, if anyone who smokes, they know they have like, not like triggers, but like places where you're accustomed to doing it. Like after you eat a big meal or after I used to always do it when I'd exit the highway. So when on my route, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. These spots where I'm just driving, I'll just smoke one. The new route I got, it's much more in town. It's just like neighborhoods, like up and down streets. I told Claire, I was like, I won't have the opportunity to do it. So when I get that new route, I'll be able to cut back completely, hopefully. So I got that new route. I went to a Christmas parade in November, and it was as stupid as it sounds, a Christmas parade in November.
And just in case nobody remembers, Andrew's very anti-parade.
Parades are the biggest waste of time. There was like thousands of... The best part was Claire thought hundreds of thousands meant hundreds or thousands, so she kept saying there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people there. And I was like, there's no fucking way there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people. She's like, yeah, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands. I said, there's a big difference in those two sayings. So there was definitely thousands of people there, but we were able to park at her shop, which is closing tomorrow, last day, officially. Yeah.
Day.
It's closing up. So I had to take off next week a few days to pack up, and I'm asking you guys at the end of the podcast to come over and help move. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you need help,
those guys get like, they start looking at their shoes and stuff.
That's what I do.
No. We're gonna pack everything up, and then my dad and brother-in-law can just come with their trucks, and we got storage units. We're just taking it to. So we parked at her shop and walked to that retirement home that's right there because it started at the park. That's Nader Park is where it came out of, and it made a right on Main. So we were right there facing that gas station.
Yeah. I know
so we were like first one to see it. We were the first ones out, so it wasn't that bad.
Were they passing out? Were they throwing candy or no?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yeah. Parade's still overrated. Still a waste of time. Still just the worst thing I could possibly want to do on a weeknight. And we're still just down to 2 baby names. That's the last thing. I like Owen. She likes Lucas. So I think we're gonna have to arm wrestle to figure this out.
Why can't you just take Luca? Name him after the great one.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but
look at that smile on his face.
I don't think Claire's gonna go for it. We'll see. I'll say Matt suggested this.
Wait, who wants what?
I like Owen.
Okay.
She likes Lucas, which I kind of like Luke more, but with my name being 1 syllable last name, Luke Khan sounds like a Chinese guy, like Luke Cage or something. Even though he was white and he was a badass.
Lucas Khan.
Lucas Khan. I was like, I don't know. Lucas the Goofus, man. That's what I always
Lucas
think.
the
Lucas the Goofus. I was like, Owen Lucas, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
Owen.
Owen Lucas Khan. Maybe y'all both win.
I like Owen.
And then let the kid decide, what he wants to go by.
Yeah, I was going to say, he can get a nickname for all I care.
Yeah.
He can go by
Junior.
Oh, you won't be a junior. That's a stupid thing to say. You won't be a junior if I give him my name.
Let Elizabeth decide.
She'll name him Leonardo or something. Yeah, he'll be fucking Splinter or something, which would be dope, but...
Shredder.
No, that's the mortal enemy. Fuck Shredder. She knows that. You should have seen her later when she had her blade behind her back. She pulls it out. She's trying to impress Alex so hard with that thing.
That's awesome.
What about you, man? What you been up to?
Nothing. Working. An illness swept through the house.
Oh, yeah.
Lauren was sick for like 2 weeks, so
Damn,
I had
2
to go.
weeks?
Yeah, I had to go super. It ended up being a sinus infection. No COVID, no strep, nothing like that, but really bad sinus infection. So I had to go super dad mode for like 2 weeks, like taking him to school every day, picking him up, dinner at night, baths at night, because she was working too. So because that woman refuses to take days off.
A lot of tomatoes, pizza, and chicken nuggets.
Some, yeah, but other nights I whipped up stuff like Sloppy Joe's.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. You should have sent pictures.
extra
That was the parade.
sloppy.
I remember where I was. I was at the parade when you were doing all that because I was getting in all of those conversations.
I just don't know how you don't like sloppy joes.
I don't
It's
know.
like a
Wait,
comfort
you
food.
don't?
I love them. No, it was
there were some
Brandon that
dudes.
did.
Yeah, there's some dudes in the chat that were like,
And then
Oh, really?
Ryan walked in right into that joke. He's like, "Who's the first Joe? Joe Mama." I was like, dude, how did you not see that one coming? That was a great one.
but yeah,
But
no,
sloppy Joe, what was it? Texas toast,
no, I went buns.
dude. But if you could ever get some Texas toast,
I
like
never
garlic,
had it that way.
fuck.
Yeah.
Talk about next time you come over, we'll do something and eat a sloppy Joe. Not that nothing gay, you know what I mean? Just like a little weed.
I went buns. Put some. Trying to watch my figure. Trying to get health conscious. So we had the spray. I can't believe it's not better, which is really convenient. Sprayed some of that on there. Put it in the toaster, and then
Hell yeah,
sounds
sounds delicious.
Some seasoned fries, and I cooked him chicken nuggets because that's all he eats is chicken nuggets.
At least he eats something.
Yeah,
least-
and apples. The
Kids
kid
suck, man.
he loves apples, which is
That's
good.
good,
Which
yeah.
is good.
All the apples you can eat.
Yeah, y'all are struggling getting Ellie to eat when I came
She's a
over.
little shit when it comes to getting her to eat. She's just
It's
fine.
tough.
I feel like I distracted
It's a tough battle to fight.
Yeah, but we asked the doctor about it. And he's like, "Look, as long as she's got meat on her bones, and she's healthy." I'm like, "All right, man. She's gonna have diabetes by the time she's in 3rd grade."
Yeah. Well, but yeah, no, working and playing dad, and then I've told you I got that little car that I'm working, that little Honda Civic I'm working on. I'm teaching myself how to work on cars. I never was mechanically inclined, but I'm learning. I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos. I'm a victim of the Fast and Furious era. Like, I love imports. Like, I love that movie made me fall in love with like imports and that whole scene. And I always wanted one, never got one. So I bought a fucking shit box of a car off Facebook Marketplace. And so I've spent the last like 7 or 8 months fixing it up.
How much you pay for it?
Like $1,900.
That's not too bad. I thought if you spent
ran?
like $400, that's a shit box.
No, it's a shit box.
Does it run?
It runs. Yeah, it runs. It just doesn't run well.
So you're
Yeah.
telling me we're gonna pull up to next year's draft, a couple badasses
I'm gonna have some fucking underglow.
with like some jaw rule blasted.
I'm gonna shave my head. I'm gonna go
And then
fucking.
Matt steps out and he's in a dress because he got last place. He steps out wide legged, his balls hanging
Balls
out.
out, dude. Balls out.
What an entrance, man. That'd be great.
But yeah, just tinkering in the backyard, and I've kind of set up that little carport area. I bought some like shop lights, and
I was gonna say you could do anything watching YouTube videos. So
yeah. I've learned how to do body work. Like the fenders were messed up, so I took the fenders off and like sanded them down, and like put body filler in there, and then sanded that down,
damn.
and then yeah.
it's gonna look good, man.
Yeah,
you need to send an updated picture because I haven't seen any of it. But I know you've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I need to. It's in pieces right now. So, but yeah, nothing. Just working, and like work is work now. Like they took the training wheels off, so it's not like new anymore, and I'm not the new guy.
You didn't get to watch the movie at work today?
No, dude. It's been crazy at work. So
That's good. That means they trust you though, and they depend on you.
no, it's going well. It's going well.
all good.
So with that, let's move on to the junk mail segment. All right, and with this first story, I am gonna pick one at random, and this is one I just found randomly that you guys don't know about. The headline reads, "Dozens stuck in British pub with Oasis cover band for 3 days after a storm." So dozens of customers who stopped for a drink at Britain's highest altitude pub got a longer stay than they bargained for after the building was cut off by a blizzard. 61 people woke up Monday after the 3rd night at the Tan Hill Inn
Jesus.
in the Yorkshire Dales. That's about 270 miles north of London. They have been unable to leave since Friday when a late autumn storm brought snow and heavy winds that felled power cables and blocked roads. The pub sits 1,732 feet above sea level and is used to being cut off by bad weather. Manager Nicole Townsend said that staff organized movies, a quiz night, and karaoke for the stranded guests. They have also been entertained by an Oasis cover band called Noasis, who have also been stuck at the pub since their gig on Friday night. Townsend said the guests were, quote unquote, in really good spirits, which I don't know how many times I can fucking hear Wonderwall without wanting to blow my brains out.
No.
I love Oasis. Oasis is cool. But
I think even 08, like the Gallagher brothers agreed, like they don't want to hear Wonderwall
no,
again.
it's like Radiohead and Creep. Like they just don't want to.
Yeah,
play.
Radiohead doesn't play that anymore at all.
No, they hate it.
Yeah, they were like, we're never gonna play that again
They hate
live.
it.
even though it made them like world famous.
Yeah.
Same thing with Oasis.
Yeah. All right.
Those guys
So
are such wild cards, though. If
The
it was
Gallaghers?
if it was a true Oasis cover band, it was just like a 3-day drunken brawl in there.
yeah, for real. But yeah, so it kind of reminds me of Shaun of the Dead, where they try to get to the Winchester. But
Oh
I
yeah, I
mean,
didn't even think of that.
there's
That's
worse
great.
places to ride out a storm.
Oh, for
you got
sure.
some,
Oh,
you got some
yeah.
food, you got beer. You know, I'm sure they're not charging.
Imagine the tab though.
I hope they're not charging people. Jesus
No,
Christ.
man. No, you can't charge. That's an act of God. I was like, I wouldn't be here otherwise. So
Imagine you're
Right.
the owner of that pub though.
yeah, but now you're getting recognition on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's worth its weight in gold. You
Yeah, I
kidding me?
did look. I think we have 2 downloads from England. So hey,
Well.
there's
Maybe
2
they
more
had nothing
people.
else better to do. So they
maybe there's
downloaded
2 more people.
Well,
All
right
right.
on.
So moving on, we're going to talk about a piece of shit here. Headline reads: Plumber discovers money, checks in wall of Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church years after a $600,000 burglary.
That's the dude we've talked about. That's a weird word.
It's hard. I'm not even gonna try.
I'm glad
Yeah.
Matt talks more than me.
The 500 envelopes full of cash and checks were found behind a loose toilet as workers moved insulation out of the wall. Headline or the story reads: You may remember hundreds of thousands of dollars that were stolen from a safe at Lakewood Church. It was a big headline back in 2014. Now, all these years later, another bombshell is dropped. Plumber says he found a large amount of money in a wall while he was doing work at the church on November 10th, 2021. Evidence from the recovered check suggests this November case is connected to the March 9th, 2014 theft report of undisclosed amounts of money at the church. Houston police confirmed. You cocked your head.
So he reported money stolen from a safe, and it's hidden inside.
7 years ago.
He stole money from the church and stored it in his own walls. Joel Osteen's such a piece of shit.
Oh my god.
He's a true man of God who, during Hurricane Harvey, didn't let people into his mega church and locked them out.
Yeah.
That's the same guy. That
And then
did
he
that
only
shit.
unlocked it after he faced backlash.
After backlash, then he finally opened the doors for people to come in because it's a mega church. It's like the size of like a stadium, and you got people that were like dying out there and couldn't get any shelter, and he literally shut the doors and padlocked it and told them to keep walking or floating, whatever they had
Keep
to do.
keep floating, fuckers.
And now it turns out like he's stealing money, and that guy's probably already worth millions. Dude.
Oh,
These
without a
piece
doubt.
of shit preachers like what's the other guy's name that looks like the devil himself?
Kenneth
Cochran.
Copeland.
Copeland. Yeah, that guy's worth like $500 million.
Yeah, I think you sent me that article.
And they try to act like they're, men of God who are just doing the work of the Lord. And it's like, no, you're a swindling piece of shit.
Well, what's weird? Have y'all ever like tuned into Joel Osteen?
No,
Never.
I
No.
don't. I refuse to
So-
give him any of my time.
This is before I knew he was a piece of shit. This is way back when. But I caught my dad watching him, and he was just listening to him, and he's saying some motivational shit, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I see this, and then I catch it on myself, and my dad was really relating to it and all this stuff, and I start watching him a separate time, start realizing that like, man, I'm relating to this too, and it's how he words everything
he'll tell you
is
what
so
you
it
wanna
relates to
hear.
you.
Well, because that's
It's
all.
so
it is.
generic.
It's just motivational.
Yeah.
Very, very little of it is backed by scripture.
It's so brainwashing.
Yeah,
that
they tell you
it's
what you want to
scary.
hear. They know it. They know what your weakness is and what you're, what you want to hear. Like Matt said, it's just
Very little of it is tied back to scripture. It's all motivational. It's just to get into your pocketbook. They play on your They really prey on your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They prey on your vulnerabilities.
I like how you said that.
What?
That the using the prey.
Oh yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I remember when like they were giving out stimulus checks. They were like, you need to give that money to the Lord. You need to send that in. Like, they
No,
were-
I need to pay my rent.
and that's what people
you
were like
fucking
getting
dickhead.
by on. Like people who were out of work, and he was like, you do the right thing, send that into the Lord. And I was like, man, you're a piece of shit. You're already worth millions, and you're taking what these people have.
All right, so the article continues. The news about the recent discovery came to light on a morning radio show at 100.3 The Bull. Quote, it was just unbelievable, the morning show host for the morning bullpen at 100.3, George Lindsay said. The things he was telling us that they found in the walls. Lindsay was shocked when he listened to the viewers Thursday morning, but says this one caller really took the segment over the edge. Quote, there was a loose toilet in the wall and we removed the tile, the caller said. We went to go remove the toilet and I moved some insulation away and about 500 envelopes fell out of the wall. And I was like, oh, wow. The caller said the envelopes were full of cash and checks. I went ahead and contacted the maintenance supervisor that was there, and I turned it all in, which is probably the wrong move.
I was going to say, you wouldn't have heard about this story if it was me. I would have said, hey, this guy's a piece of shit, but there's like $600,000 here. We can split this however many ways.
But yeah, so it was the Houston Police Department is still investigating the 7-year-old case involving the disappearance of $600,000. It is unclear how much money the plumber discovered, but the case raises a lot of questions.
There needs to be accountability.
Yeah, hopefully it can get him in some trouble.
I mean, it's obvious if he said reportedly, gone missing from his church, and now that amount shows up in his walls. How can you explain that? I would love to hear his explanation. I
just can't stand it, because Kayla's super religious, and she tithes every month and everything like that. So there should be some malpractice there. He shouldn't be able to be a public speaker anymore for things like that. Any of these.
Because they're con men, they're swindlers. Yeah, they're crooks. I mean,
you don't have to fix the problem.
Tax.
Churches over a certain size should be taxed.
Churches with more than like a couple hundred.
See, I don't know about that because my brother-in-law out in Eastland, he's a youth minister, and
500. 500 or more. That's a big church.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
if you have more than
mega churches.
Mega churches absolutely 100% should lose tax exempt status.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
They'll be fine too if they have to pay taxes.
They'll be
they're
fine.
making so much money. It's fine. They'll be okay.
They justify it saying how the Lord wants them to look good and travel nice, like that. Copeland
that's why
has
I need
his
my
private
jet.
plane.
That's why I need my G6.
That's what Copeland said. He has a private jet, and he said the Lord wants him to have that jet so he can fly and spread his gospel. It's like, how can you justify having a private fucking jet when you want to be a man of God when Jesus was like, basically homeless.
He was a carpenter.
He's a carpenter, like the most humble guy.
He gave away everything he had.
And these guys are thinking they're justified with, swindling millions from people. All right. Total piece of shit.
Next story. Headline reads, Smoking Crack Sanctioned at NYC Safe Injection Sites.
That's one of the ones I had down.
Yeah, and so I just pulled it up on mine so I could read it a little bit better. And this is from the New York Post. It reads, Smoking crack cocaine is officially sanctioned at the Safe Injection Sites. Mayor Bill de Blasio, going to talk about a piece of shit, brought to Manhattan this week in a move that's infuriated the center's neighbors, and it has at least one business owner packing his bags. Quote, people are allowed to bring the substance that they prefer to use here, and they are permitted to consume the substance in the manner of their choice, East Harlem Site Director Kaylin C. confirmed. Quote, we are there to make sure that no medical emergency occurs and to connect them into care if they need that, she added, saying that many of her clients use drugs laced with fentanyl, including heroin, crack, cocaine, methamphetamine, amphetamine, and K2, which, why is that still a thing? The nonprofit is one of two in Upper Manhattan that became the country's first legal shooting galleries when they opened Tuesday.
Shooting gallery. That's
a great noise. They've had an immediate effect, but maybe not the one de Blasio, who has just 4 weeks left in office, was hoping for as business owners still left standing try and dig out from the pandemic. So, yeah, there you are as a business owner. You've struggled for almost 2 years now trying to survive the pandemic, and they open up a crack house, a legal crack house.
That's seriously what it is. It's a legal crack house. It's sanctioned by the city.
And there are, that's a huge fucking crack pipe. It's a big ass crack pipe.
Did it say in the article that you read that on the day that they opened, they had 5 overdoses?
Wow.
I haven't read that so far, but
yeah, they probably have medical personnel so they can justify, like, look, if they OD, we have Narcan or whatever he needs.
That's exactly what they did. De Blasio framed the overdoses, which were reversed and resulted in no deaths, as proof of concept of the sites. So
it's also basically an endorsement by the city to get fucking high.
But programs like this have worked. I think Portugal, the Netherlands.
Yeah, all drugs.
I think, there's several European countries.
In what way have they worked? Like just keeping people from overdosing?
The crime rates are down.
Yeah.
Okay. The overdose rates are down.
You take away like the black market, of drug use.
The overall drug users are down because not only are they giving them clean needles and inject in needle like not trading, I guess exchange programs. Mm-hmm. So if they're going to do it, they're going to do it in a clean and safe way. They also help these people with mental health issues. They help them with housing. They have pathway programs
to get them off.
Yeah. So it's not just, hey, here's a room, have at it.
Yeah, with a bunch of
there's
beanbags.
So much
beanbags,
lava
They got
lamps.
Adventure Times on.
It's just there's so much more that goes into it that you have to provide these people.
There's a reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it's just not here's a room. They're not doing it on the street, but these people still do it, and then they get released on the street. These people need so much more help than a place
Addicts
to do
need
it.
treatment rather than like punishment too. So I think that's the thing they're trying to do is like more of a treatment.
You know,
aspect.
and I've talked about it a little bit here. Like I'm a huge advocate for mental health. You know, I've struggled with my own mental health. There's not enough of that in this country. The stigma is still there.
Takes people like Dak though, and you know, like you talking out about it.
Yeah, it's still
Jeff
there.
Kavanaugh, just some people don't talk about it.
There's just so much more that just goes into it.
Well, I would like to congratulate drugs for officially winning the war on drugs. That's all I can think of. Like, we went from 50 years ago declaring a war on drugs, public enemy number one, to now the biggest city in the country has free what they call shooting galleries. Like, congratulations.
Yeah, we've gotten mud stomped on that one.
We wasted trillions of dollars on war on drugs and everything we declare war on, we fucking lose.
Yeah, it was deliberate.
All right, so this last one. Headline reads, Ted Cruz slams government propaganda after Sesame Street's Big Bird gets the vaccine. Texas Senator Ted Cruz declared a tweet by Sesame Street's Big Bird about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. It's cool that Big Bird is able to tweet with those wings. Was government propaganda for children. Quote, I got the COVID-19 vaccine today. My wing is feeling a little sore, but it'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy, the tweet said days after the CDC recommended kid-side doses of the Pfizer vaccine for children 5 to 11. Big Bird's tweet added that CNN journalist Erica Hill, quote, even said, I've been getting vaccines since I was a little bird. I had no idea. Cruz was quick to condemn the message, writing government propaganda for your 5-year-old. His tweet sparked backlash, including from gun control activist David Hogg. Quote, Ted Cruz is doing the job of our enemies by spreading more disinformation that's killed over 200,000 Americans this year, Hogg tweeted. I cannot believe an actual sitting senator would tweet this. In a reply to Cruz's tweet, Hogg also recalled the senator's travel to Cancun, Mexico, as Texas endured a deadly winter storm.
Yep, never forget.
Earlier this
Hopefully
year.
Never lives that down.
He'll probably get reelected, though, that piece of shit.
Quote, at least it's acceptable for birds to fly south for the winter, unlike some senators who left millions of their constituents to fucking die in the cold, Hogg wrote.
So you're telling me a senator who works for the government criticized the public broadcasting that's not government affiliated for government propaganda?
Basically, that's what that tweet says.
That makes no sense. He works for the government, and he's saying the government is spreading propaganda. PBS is funded by public donors like you and me.
It's a very good point. I didn't even think about
that guy's
that.
a fucking idiot. I can't stand Ted Cruz. You know, say what you will about the vaccine. I get, like Matt made the point, you know, it's up to us to educate our children. But Sesame Street's been like the OG since like the 60s. They've been teaching us all kinds of things. And if they want to dip their toes in that, maybe it's not the best thing to do. But you know what? They earn the right to teach kids if they want. Ted Cruz can just suck a dick and die. In that order.
All right, so that was junk mail. So let's move on to our Mount Rushmore segment. And as I mentioned in the beginning or in the intro, we're going to discuss players who who their prime of their career was cut short or ended too early. Now I didn't know what the rules. I didn't know what the rules were, so some of it was injury, some of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Personal injury, anything that you weren't a pro.
Okay.
After this point.
Okay. So as per usual, we're gonna let our guest kick it off. Sure. Alex, what's your first one?
So I think I already told y'all before, but I went just basketball players. I kind of limited myself to basketball players.
That's
so the first on my list is kind of go in order of who I think the best at the end. So, Grant Hill was a little before my time, but you know, you can go on YouTube and see all of his highlights where dude was just supposed to be the next big thing, but got taken out with numerous ankle injuries. I wrote down 2000. Some of his stats were almost 26 points a game, five assists, 6.6 rebounds, over a steal and a half per game. So. You know, he had all sorts of comparisons with MJ, whoever else. But I don't have a lot of information on him. Just kind of like YouTube highlight mixes. I didn't really watch him, but the crazy thing is like, he still had a long career. So
Yeah, I was about to say he had a long.
he never reached his potential more than,
and that's a lot of people on my list.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went with the shortened prime is kind of who I was.
Yeah, Grant Hill was
after.
like, he's like a smaller Tim Duncan where he did everything right. Like he didn't have a flaw in his game.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of college, like at a Duke, like he would have like taken that throne from like Jordan,
Yeah.
In the 90s to carry it.
So a lot
Like
of
you
people
said,
think- he had some jams too, man. He had some nice dunks.
he was amazing. Yeah.
Next person on my list is Brandon Roy. So
Yeah, he's on my honorable mention.
he had a pretty his career wasn't nearly as long as like what Grant Hill had, but
yeah, he was 6 years. I had him on my list too, 6
Yep.
years.
he had about 3 good out of those 6 years. About 3 of them were pretty good, and then and then injuries took hold.
Was he offensive rookie of the year?
He may have been. I'm not sure. I think he
was.
got some all-star selections, but his one of his best years, 22 points, 5 assists, almost 5 rebounds. And what I'll probably remember the most about him is just Game 4, 2011 against the Mavs when he staged a comeback in the first round. That's the year that we ended up winning the championship, obviously. But we were up 23 points, and he just could not miss. So they had a lot of contributors that series with Wesley Matthews, LaMarcus Aldridge, but Brandon Roy was the one person I was terrified of getting hot. So next person, Bill Walton, again, before my time, but won an MVP. Did not realize this, but he had 39 surgeries on his legs. So
Rehabbed with strictly marijuana and LSD. Never took a pill in his life unless it was LSD. Big deadhead.
Almost about 19 points. This is 1977, so way before my time, but about 19 points a game, 5 assists, 13, just over 13 rebounds a game, and obviously won an MVP. So
he won that one title in Portland too, didn't he?
Yeah, I
I
believe
think
so.
that like that lone title for Portland.
Which sucks. Back-to-back Portland players.
Yeah,
with those short.
Should have
primes.
a third.
And then I'm assuming you can guess the number one. Talking about basketball players.
I got one on my list. I don't know if you've.
So
I got a couple on mine, but
Oh,
I
do
don't
you?
know.
You want me to guess?
yeah,
Lynn Bias.
nah.
Damn, it was on my list.
Okay, no.
I don't want to give it away because I'm giving away my list.
Derrick Rose is
Yeah,
the number
that's
one.
what I was going to ask about.
So 2011 MVP. I mean, he was just
Derrick Rose
Electric.
and Brandon Roy kind of same, so explosive, and then it was like knee issues from just
Yeah.
dunking on people.
and it's. But I've never seen anyone get up like Derrick Rose before. I mean, you say like Brandon Roy, but just Derrick Rose was just in a league of his own with the way that he played, just everything. He obviously early on didn't have the sort of skill set he has now.
Yeah, he was more. He was used pure, almost like pure athleticism
Yeah.
back then.
But still just dominating the game.
Oh yeah, that year he won MVP. That was when like LeBron was in prime. You know, like just went to Miami, and people were like, "Oh yeah, LeBron's gonna win 5 straight MVPs." And then Rose took one. It was like, well, Rose actually deserved that MVP.
2011 MVP, 25 points, 7.7 assists, 4 rebounds a game. He has, this kind of surprised me. I won't make y'all guess this, but he's played 17 years in the league now.
Fuck.
So obviously,
He's on my fantasy team, dude. I picked him up this past week. He's still
solid.
a comparable like player. Obviously, like you said, he's taking it down because of the knee issues. Because you just can't keep that up.
No.
You can't play 17 years and be unless you're LeBron James, which he was a physical freak. But yeah,
Westbrook's pretty robotic like that too. He's
probably at least 10 plus years in, right? At least because we played
without
them
a
in
doubt.
2011 playoff run.
Yeah, but I just
But
think
yeah,
like
he's
the
at least 10
dunking and
years.
stuff, he's just like a cyborg,
Yeah.
So there's only a few players that can really just continue to play with that sort of athleticism for their entire career.
I guess I don't remember Westbrook being that old, but you're right. He's at least 10, 12 years in.
Yeah, I
And
mean, he
still
was drafted the year after Durant, I believe. So
Durant was 7, so he would have been 8. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's almost 15 years in.
yeah, so that's my Mount Rushmore. I just kept it strictly basketball. I'm sure y'all have some really good other sports in there.
Now you want to trade off? You want me to go run through mine?
Don't matter.
What you want to do, dog? I don't want to steal any.
We'll trade off. Go.
All right, first one. I got a football player, and baseball player. It's Bo Jackson.
Yep, he's on mine.
He's a physical freak.
Well, shit.
Only played 8 MLB seasons, and he picked baseball over football, so he played 8 baseball, 4 football. For his career, he's a 250 hitter, 141 home runs, 415 RBIs. And in those 4 NFL seasons, though, 2,782 yards, 16 touchdowns. And again, it was just, injuries. It was a hip injury that ended his NFL career, and then he chose baseball. But if you remember, I'm sure we were too young, but watching documentaries and watching clips of him, he's just one of the greatest athletes to ever live.
He was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was a better football player than baseball player, but obviously he made the right choice for his body because he was able to play more baseball. Yeah. But one of the best 2-sport athletes of all time.
I always think about him running up the wall.
Yeah, running like a spider.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Remember him running over Bosworth?
Yeah, at the goal line.
Yeah, at the goal line when it was like that immovable force meets unstoppable object or whatever, and he just bulldozed Bosworth.
So he won the Heisman in 85, the Walter Camp in 85. He was a Sporting News Player of the Year in 85, and this is all college awards. He was a 2-time All-American. He was 3-time first All-SEC. And probably one of the most impressive things he ever did is he broke a bat over his head.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then there's an iconic, and there's just a couple random things that I always think about when I think about Bo Jackson, but there's an iconic poster that my older brother, I got a brother that's 11 years older than me.
I know what you're talking about.
He's got the shoulder pads on with the bat, and he's resting
his sports card like it too, yeah.
Yeah, I want that card really bad. And then in the game Techno Super Bowl, back on the NES.
Unstoppable, right?
You could not.
Yeah,
my brother.
It's cheating.
Yeah, my brother would have playing tournaments and stuff, or he'd be playing with his buddies, and the rule was you couldn't have the Oakland Raiders. So,
I think that's a fair rule.
That was like
play with Bo Jackson,
2000
Michael
Vick, 2004 Vick. Like you couldn't be the Falcons. Nobody could stop Vick.
Yeah. Same concept. Bo Jackson was on mine, so I figured I'd talk about it. Was that?
All right, we'll go now. You then me.
Okay, my first one was Sean Taylor.
Yep. Damn, I had all mine too. I had 2 postmortems. You already said them both, Lynn Bias and Sean Taylor.
Yeah, so Sean Taylor, I think he's picked number 5 overall and I'm going to go ahead and say it because that's who they were when they drafted him, by the Washington Redskins.
Bruh.
What?
Oh, wait. Bruh. Sorry, I didn't mean to fart. It was the bruh.
So, and he was tragically shot in his home.
Do you remember that? He was shot in the leg. I remember when reports came out, and I was like, oh, he's fine, right? But I guess it hit a artery.
It hit his femoral artery. So you have like probably your biggest artery running right there with your femur.
So tragic.
And
Hall of Fame potential.
He had his girlfriend or his fiance and his 18-month-old daughter were there, and 4 dudes. They call them men, but I call them pussies. There was a 20-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 19-year-old. They were the ones involved. So,
what's the backstory? Is there
home invasion?
Yeah, on November 18, 2007, burglars pried open a window.
Good job.
Taylor's empty home and rifled through a desk and safe on November 26th. Taylor heard noises in his house, and while investigating the cause, was shot in the upper leg by an intruder. Taylor's femoral artery was severed, causing extensive blood loss, and he died the following day. Yeah. On November 30th, 4 men, I'm not going to mention their names, but a 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-old were arrested. Police said more than one confessed. All 4 men were charged with felony second-degree murder, armed burglary, and home invasion robbery with firearm charges, which carried a maximum of life in prison. Jesus, it gets worse. In May of 2008, a fifth suspect, 16-year-old, was charged with first-degree murder and burglary. All the murder charges were subsequently increased to first-degree murder. The death penalty, however, was not sought because the gunman I almost said his name. The gunman was 17 years old.
He was just shot once in the leg?
Yeah.
So that's all it took.
I remember like reports and everyone was like, well, it's just a leg shot, like it could be worse. And then it's like,
he's
later on, it was like, yeah, he died from that.
That fucking sucks.
So, one of the guys, the gunman in the case, let me read, sorry, I know this is bad radio. He got 57.5 years in prison.
Yeah, fuck him.
The other one was convicted in the murder and sentenced to life. One got 30 and one got 18 years.
He might be out getting pretty soon.
Yeah.
He gets paroled.
So yeah, I mean, he was just. I remember him being hard hitting. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you did not want to run in the box. You did not want to go across the middle.
he was a Hall of Fame talent, dude.
Yeah, he for sure was.
He was up there with like Palomalu and Ed Reed as like the best safeties in the league.
And I remember he was kind of I don't want to say a hothead because respect is respect.
Well, he's Miami, right? Miami boy.
Well, and he was there from 2004 when it was the fucking U.
The U, yeah.
The
So
fucking U,
just like
you
an
know?
attitude.
But I remember in a playoff game, like he fucking spit in some dude's face. I remember him getting in trouble for that. But yeah, just a life taken too quick.
And then Patrick Mahomes' brother fucking danced on his memorial on that day. What another douchebag.
I don't understand why Patrick his wife and his brother. You can't come. You can watch from the house.
Yeah.
You can't come. And guess what? Delete your fucking TikTok. I'm going to pay you enough money to not fucking...
That guy never has to do anything, and he can live off his coattails.
Do not post another fucking TikTok.
Nothing but bad publicity.
And you, girlfriend, stay the fuck off Twitter. I make the money. You live this life because of me. Stay the fuck off Twitter because all you do is cause me problems.
So so I was thinking about this the other day too. He just has to be just a super chill guy
To put up with that shit?
To put up with that,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Because I kind of get the same vibes with LaMelo and Lonzo are doing pretty well in the NBA right now, and they never told their dad to just shut the fuck up.
He's chilled out, though.
He has chilled out,
least.
but back when he was just running his mouth all the time.
I think that was like to hype up his boys because everyone knew who those boys were.
Now it's like looking back.
It's kind of smart, yeah.
I don't mind it at all.
You can say what you will, but guy knows how to fucking put people out
but
there.
all that
totally different scenarios here. One is just doing disrespectful things, or
that's fine. But saying you could beat MJ and all that shit, like, dude, shut the fuck up.
And then they went back and was it Oregon State he went to? Like, yeah, he averaged 3 points at Oregon State.
How ironic is it? His son's now on MJ's team.
Yeah, and he's
MJ's
like
his
a
boss.
top 20 player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, He's a little inconsistent right now, but he had an amazing game the other day, almost a game winner over against the Bucks.
All right, so Sean Taylor was my first one.
All right, I'll move on. Another football player, Ryan Shazier.
That one's
that's
really
That's
sad.
a tough one. Yeah, that's legit career-ending neck injury.
Were y'all watching that live when that happened?
Yeah, it was hard to
I
watch.
think it was prime. It might have been prime time.
That was on December 4th, 2017. He only played 4 years, and again, a guy that had like a Hall of Fame talent. Cowboys really wanted him that year.
Yeah, that was the guy I wanted to.
We had to pivot and take Zach Martin, which I think we're all happy with that pick. Mm-hmm. But Ryan Shazier was just like a different level. Just a great player to go to such a franchise with like a storied defense. It was really like a match made in heaven. Mm-hmm. And what was it? 3-4 years ago, like he got engaged and he walked across the stage at the draft, and I mean, it was just like not a dry eye, just to see that guy be able to. Because first they're like, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe he can play again. They're like, look, he's gonna be lucky if he can ever walk again with that neck injury. And then to see him up there with his wife or with fiance and walking across, I think he made the selection for the Steelers, and they should maybe not retire his number, but I'm sure they set him up with some kind of. Didn't they sign him to a deal so he could get like full medical for the rest of his life or something? I think they technically like re-signed him and gave him like all these great benefits.
I'm not sure,
it was a very classy move that the Steelers did. Like he wasn't just like it's a tragedy that to happen to anybody, but to happen to somebody that was, like I said, would have been like what's the word, a stalwart in that defense, which is a historically great defense.
Yeah,
it's just tough to see. No matter who you're a fan of, it's just tough to see, man. It was really sad.
Hey, y'all are picking some rough ones.
Yeah,
mine.
One guy's dead, the other one's paralyzed.
Yeah,
I've got another deceased player, but he's in my honorable mentions. My second one, he's a little older, but he was definitely still in his prime, and that's Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
As much as I love Emmitt Smith, I have tons of Emmitt Smith rookie cards. He would break. He would have smashed him.
He would have crushed that record, dude. He was already within striking distance of Walter Payton when he retired.
He's a joystick. He's a human highlight. All those
greatest running back of all time.
superlatives you want to throw in there. He was it. He was a threat to go the distance every time he touched the ball. And it was. I remember where I was with my older brother, and he was like, "Barry Sanders retired," and I remember being lit. younger, and I'd be like, what? That
Like
doesn't
you
make sense.
don't understand because he's still a top.
And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. But
Top
I
of his
remember
game.
my brother being like, this is crazy. So yeah, Barry Sanders, he was 31 when he retired, but
Could
he's
have played
still
another 5
yeah,
years.
he's still in his prime. Went
Like,
to,
I was gonna say he had to average what 15, 16, 1,700 yards a year. I bet.
yeah. Could you think about this backfield at Oklahoma State though? It was him and Thurman Thomas.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up his stats real quick. He had 15,269 yards, and he averaged 5 yards a carry.
You should. I know we don't have time now, but anyone listening, look up Barry Sanders' college stats. His Heisman Trophy winning year. What was that, like 88? Mac might look it up now. Fucking ridiculous. The numbers he put up when he won the Heisman that year is ridiculous.
So 1988, he played in 12 games.
12 games. Remember that.
12 games. He had, oh my God,
It's ridiculous, dude.
2,850 yards. He averaged 7.6 a carry. He averaged 237 yards a game, 42 touchdowns, 19 receptions, 106 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That's a decent career for some people to have 2,800 yards and 42 touchdowns. That was his year in high school or year in college, and then he was like,
So,
I think I'm ready to go pro now.
He set 34 NCAA records in his college career, and he still holds these. Most rushing yards in the season, 26-28,
that won't be broken
with the
at all.
spread and everything.
Nope.
This is for college, you said?
For college.
Oklahoma State's where he
Most
went.
rushing touchdowns in the season, 44. Most touchdowns in the season, 44. Most games rushing for 300 plus yards in a season, 4, and a career. Highest average rushing yards per game in a season, he averaged 238 effing yards, and most points scored in a season with 234.
Yeah,
Dude was 5'7", and he ran a 4.340.
greatest running back of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
retired early. That's what Detroit Lions will do to you.
yeah,
No one said Calvin Johnson yet, but he's the same thing.
Calvin Johnson, and I have another line on here too. Just real quick, this was his statement. Quote, shortly after the end of last season, I felt that I probably would not return for the 99-2000 season. I also felt that I should take as much time as possible to sort through my feelings and make sure that my feelings were back with conviction. Today, I officially declare my departure from the NFL.
And that was it. He was a very, quiet guy. What I loved about him, too, is he scored a touchdown, just handed it off.
Yeah.
Never celebrated, never showboated. He was just... to me, he was like one of, if not the greatest football player of all time.
Cool thing about Barry Sanders is he left football healthy.
Because that was what I was going to ask, is why it was mentally he was just checked out of football?
Detroit won one play. They won that one playoff game against us in like 92. In his whole career, that was all they ever did. I watched a Football Life about him and Calvin Johnson a couple months ago, and yeah, he was just beaten down
It says right here, it was thought by some that Lions head coach Bobby Ross himself may have been the reason for Sanders' early retirement. But in his autobiography, Barry Sanders, Now You See Him, Sanders praised Ross as a head coach and who had nothing directly to do with his retirement. He says it was more frustration with the management and direction of the Lions and the resulting lack of success that likely contributed to the retirement. Sanders revealed.
I think they were going to like another rebuild, and they were like coming off like a decent year like a couple years ago, and they fired the new coach. I think they were going to rebuild, and he just didn't want it. Same thing with Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to put up with it.
Yep.
All right, I got 2 more. You easily could have added another Portland Trailblazer. I really thought you were going to name him as Greg Oden.
Yeah, it's just he never really.
Did he have a prime? I mean, did
He
he
never
have?
Did
really
you
got
see
going.
him at Ohio State?
I don't
Hell, there's a
watch- I don't
reason
really
why he
watch
was
college.
selected number 1 overall.
Well, he was 7th, whatever. That had a big reason, right?
Yeah, well, that and his hog hung down to his knee, apparently. that bumped up his draft stock. But yeah, it was only 105 games in 3 years because he had a microfracture knee surgery. But number 1 play overall, only plays in 3 years. That's a prime cut short.
Yeah, no, I get it. I looked up a list to kind of get some ideas, and he was on there. When I looked at it,
And he looks like he's 47 years
Yeah.
old when he got drafted. Jesus Christ, he was an old man. He just
never really got going in the pros,
No, and I wouldn't say he was going to be like the next Shaq, because obviously Shaq's just like a different kind of human. But I could see like a lot of DeAndre Ayton, maybe because Ayton looks like he's 44 years old
for
already
sure.
too. But
You're
I don't
right,
know.
dude. Portland is Portland.
Yeah, that's what I'm
man,
saying.
is
There's
terrible
3
luck.
Portland guys already on our list.
And then who knows what's going to go on with Lillard? haven't had any success with him. So
He's loyal, man. I'd like for him to stay, and if we don't win a championship, I wouldn't mind seeing Portland get one. Fuck. All right, I got one more after Matt's. I feel like it's a good one, so I hope you don't say it.
I might, man. My last one is Andrew Luck.
Okay, honorable mention. That's a good one.
Mine's Andrew Luck.
Shout out Van Horn again.
Yeah, oh, man. That was a crazy night.
That poor bastard. Remember that? He drafted him that draft night.
and we found out about it.
And then we were watching that game. It was a preseason game, and the Colts fans were like booing him and throwing stuff at him. And it's like, the guy has a neck injury and he wants to live.
The best part about that is Ryan's passed out on the couch and has been passed out for hours. And my buddy texted me about it. And it was the first time I was hearing it. And I said it out loud. And Ryan just wakes up out of a dead sleep. He's like, bullshit. And then it's like, and then we start seeing like all the boos going on at the Colts game. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, they were raining down trash on that guy.
Just, like, shitty move, man. Like,
he had neck injuries, man. Like, he
Yeah.
could have been paralyzed. It's like when Irvin retired. Irvin could have played a couple more years, but you don't fuck with neck or back injuries like that. Especially when
honestly,
Andrew Luck is
good for
a
him.
very smart. He went to Stanford, you know, like, and it wasn't just because he's good at football. Andrew Luck's a very smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably making millions now doing whatever he wants to do.
You know, and his dad was an NFL quarterback, so, but he only played 7 years. He won the NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2018. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. He led the league in touchdown passes in 2014. He was a Maxwell Award winner, a Walter Camp Award winner. He was a 2-time Heisman finalist.
was it Jason's first quarterback off the board?
Yeah, but I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, call in right now. I really think he took Russell Wilson later on in that draft. Like, without even knowing Andrew Luck, he took Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
And then, like, rounds later, he snagged Russell Wilson and ended up being still a solid team for him. And just so you guys know real quick, Matt's totally cheating right now. He's looking off a computer and getting all these stats.
Well, that's fine. I mean,
I was going to say, man, your list is blowing us away because you got all this great info.
that's fine. Get your phone out or get a computer. I don't know. What do you
Get a
want me to say?
computer.
But yeah, that was he was a really good quarterback. He battled a lot of injuries. And
Well, they say greatest prospect since Peyton Manning and John Elway.
yeah, and what's crazy is, and I forget because his dad did play for Houston, but he went to Stratford High School in Houston. He was like a 5-star prospect coming out of high school.
That's true. Yeah, they are from Houston.
Yeah.
Where did Luck go? Where did Andrew go to? Did his brother? What his dad name was Oliver or something?
Oliver
right?
Luck?
Did he go to Stratford and Andrew, or just?
Andrew Luck went to Stratford High School in Houston.
Oh shit, that's cool. That makes sense because the dad was, played for Houston.
played
Probably
for
just put his
Houston.
roots down. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so he in his press conference he said, "I've been stuck in this process. Haven't been able to live the life I want to live. It's taken the joy out of the game. The only way forward for me is to remove myself from football. It's not an easy decision. It's the hardest decision of my life, but it's the right decision for me."
You can't disagree with that. When a guy puts his health before, a sport.
And
Good for him.
honestly, he's one of the guys I'm surprised hadn't come back. Take a couple years off, let your body heal, and I'm surprised the competitive urge, the competitive drive didn't.
Shit, Colts don't need him. They got Carson Wentz. Duh.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, they're rolling.
Excuse me. But yeah, so Andrew Luck.
All right, I actually have another Indianapolis Colts, and that's Bob Sanders.
Oh man, yeah.
2007.
Educate me. I don't know.
He was another safety,
He was a
man.
safety.
This is what I have written down. 2007, he was a Defensive Player of the Year. He was only 5'7", played in only 50 career games, but he only played more than 6 games in 2 seasons. In one of those seasons, he was Defensive Player of the Year. So out of his 6 seasons, he was only healthy for pretty much 2 times. The rest of the time were just injuries constantly. But he was like a ball hawking,
Bob Sanders, number 20.
Yeah, he was just like a little scrappy safety. That was what Polamalu, Reed, and Sanders were like the best. Like we said, Taylor, but Taylor was cut short more tragically. But yeah, Bob Sanders won a Defensive Player of the Year from the safety position at being 5'7", and just injuries cut him short, just like we've been talking about. He's a great scrappy player. Good for the little guys.
Well, I'm done. I do have honorable mentions, and
Yeah.
I won't go too hard, as far as stats or anything. But Jose Fernandez, the pitcher for the Marlins.
That
crash,
cocaine in his system and crashed that boat. Fuck, that's a good one, man. He was really good.
And this is kind of debatable. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, didn't I should probably have the facts for this, but like, didn't a teammate like do something like the next game, like, hit a home run?
D. Gordon,
who never hit home runs.
Never hits home runs. They were like tight. They were real tight. And the game following
leadoff, right?
Following his death, he hit a bomb and he came. And I got chills thinking about it.
I know
he came back and I think he put on a jersey of his, or they were all wearing his jersey. The whole team was wearing their jerseys just with their names on it or with his number. But yeah, he hit home run and he's a leadoff guy.
Shit like that blows my mind.
Jose Fernandez, and this one's kind of iffy, but it's my list, so fuck off. Troy Aikman, he retired at 33 because of injuries, but I think like Elway paid till he was like 38. You know, Brett Favre.
Look at Brady now.
Yeah, I think he, without the injuries, he could have played a few more years.
Aikman has the body to still be playing now. Washboard abs.
He's been getting on my nerves lately, though. He's been obnoxious with the. I think it was a Cowboys game the other day where Dak has not been playing the greatest, but
he can't be a homer.
I'm glad he's hard on us.
Yeah. Like, that's what she said. No, yeah, that's. I'm glad he doesn't have hometown bias though.
Same, but I don't want it to go all the way the other way too. It's like you're overcompensating.
Troy Aikman, Luke Kuechly, who was. I think he was probably Defensive Player of the Year at one point.
At least once.
He was 28 when he got out. Priest Holmes. Oh, man. We already talked about Brandon Roy. And then Billy Sims. He was a Detroit. He played for the University of Texas. He was a running back. One of the best in Longhorns history. He only played 4 years in the league, which is kind of crazy. But he's doing fine now. He played for Oklahoma. Yeah, he only ran for 5,000 yards, 42 touchdowns, which is kind of crazy. So he had a knee injury. So right. After his career, he kind of fell on some hard times. He had to sell his Heisman Trophy.
Damn.
Only two I had left were Gale Sayers.
Mm-hmm.
He only played 7 years, but he led the league rushing twice. All-purpose yards. Leader 3 years in a row, 5-time All-Pro, almost 5,000 rushing yards in those 7 years. So, and return yards, 3,172 return yards with 18 touchdowns. And Luke Kuechly, the one you just mentioned, reminded me of somebody I had to look up real quick. Chris Borland for San Francisco. Remember him?
And Patrick Willis.
They had 2 linebackers that were studs. Borland played 1 year, and in that 1 year, where I just said it was 107 tackles, a sack, a fumble, and 2 interceptions. As a rookie, he was, 3-time Big Ten champion. He was Big Ten Freshman of the Year, 3-time first team All Big Ten, linebacker of the year. He's an All-American. And then for medical reasons, same thing. He was just like, my body can't put up.
Guys, man.
Yeah, they made personal decisions, Chris Borland and Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis still might make the Hall of Fame, though.
Yeah.
I think he's got a shot, but yeah, good call on. And then didn't they have a Navarro? What was his name? Something Navarro, where they're like, 49ers, because I have a buddy at work that's a Niners fan, and they just got hit hard. It was after, shit with Kaepernick, and then Harbaugh left, and then Willis, Navarro, and Borland, like 3 stud linebackers, all within like a year or two, all retired.
It was Navarro Bowman, wasn't it?
That was it, Navarro Bowman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that is our Mount Rushmore for this week.
Good list, guys.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. So let's move on to Pick Your Poison. And we're going to let the guests do the honors. And if we don't get a good one, we'll pick a second one.
Yeah, sometimes they suck.
I don't know who picked this list.
Well, if I can get it unfolded. All right. Would you rather have constantly dry eyes or a constant runny nose?
That's a terrible option. That's a good Pick Your Poison.
Damn.
Give me a runny nose.
You know how I deal with that? Claire hates it.
So you just
plug them. I do the corkscrew.
You plug them.
Yeah, you just get tissues and clog your nose.
Dude, dry eyes is the fucking worst.
And there's no remedy, right? Like you can't get like some eye drops. There's just like nothing that can help.
Can't?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like you would assume
plug your nose.
I'm walking around with fucking plugs. I don't give a shit.
I'll walk around with eye drops, I think.
Dude, that's a thing apparently. What? People walk around just plugged up.
What are you talking, butt plugs
now? Or who? Yes. I don't know. On TikTok, it's a thing. People walk around.
You better send me videos so I can avoid these people.
People aren't. they don't show the butt plugs.
How do you know they have it?
Like an animal tail, and it's like it's I thought that they were just like wearing it, but no, it's up their
They're
butt.
plugs. People walk around plugged up.
Well, you heard it here first. I didn't know that.
Or maybe a show title, Plugged Up.
The name.
Dude, I just don't understand people. First, okay, you're eating
Hey,
ass.
don't
They're
knock
looking
it
at
till
us
you
with our
try
pinky
it.
rings like, I don't understand those jerk offs.
You're eating ass first. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Now you're just walking around with a fucking butt plug in your ass. Like, they can't be good for your poop. They can't be good for your
It's
bowels.
probably excellent for your poop. It's a wider hole
slide
to
right
come
out.
out of. Yeah, just shoots right out.
Yeah, but eventually it's just going to fall out, right?
Which is great for your poop.
Like, no, walking down the...
Oh, you're talking about like an
You're
accident.
in Target and you just plop out a turd in aisle 4. That's not cool.
Yeah, that you do that in Walmart. Don't do that shit in Target.
Say
Don't
what?
bring that shit to Target.
Target's classy. Come on, get out of here.
There was a tweet Chili's put out, and it was obviously fake, but it was like, "Dear like guests, please don't do meth in our bathroom. We're not Applebee's."
I love how Walmart is the equivalent of Applebee's. And
Yeah.
Target's like Chili, so they have these little wars.
Do y'all want to do one more?
Yeah, let's
That was
do
a
one
pretty
more.
quick one, right? So
I guess I'll have runny nose because
Give
dry
me-
eyes
give me
drives me
runny
crazy.
I'm the only one going dry eyes. I guess.
Mm,
Dude,
But
when I
that's only 'cause
smoke and I got my contacts in, I immediately have to put on my glasses. My eyes get so dry.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Runny
hate,
nose, I'm just
I hate dry contacts, but man, when your nose is running all day and then you wipe it enough, it
It
gets
gets raw.
raw.
Yeah.
I hate that more than.
or
anything.
if you have a mustache like we do, like I didn't
Yeah.
realize how big of a hassle that was to like eat, pancakes and syrup or have a runny nose. It just like ruins your mustache.
Just get a Kleenex, tear it in half.
Oh, this
twisties.
is a movie
Oh,
suggestion.
yeah, corkscrew. That is. Let me see. We need to pull that out. Take it out, then.
I put it right back in. Here you go.
Jerry Maguire, another
That's a good
great
one.
movie. You've never seen it, dude. What are you talking about?
Are we going to
You never-
talk?
you never seen that one?
Yeah,
No,
I've-
Matt's never seen a good movie in his life.
yeah.
Did you not
I've,
know
I've
that?
seen Jerry Maguire.
No,
that was
but,
my suggestion.
No, but I do want to like I don't know what the right word is here, but I knew it was like 2 podcasts ago. I think you were giving Matt shit about like never seen The Godfather. I've never seen The Godfather either.
Yeah. Did you want to get into it? Not now, but here in a little bit. Do you want to flame me for all the movies I haven't seen?
No, I'm just
Y'all-
gonna like make you watch movies with
Do
me.
y'all do something with this?
Oh yeah, we'll trash it.
Yeah, that's the one we already read. All right, here's the other one.
We're just gonna have a movie night. We're gonna have to have movie nights like sleepovers, like
Dude,
me and
invite me
Ellie.
over because
Let's do it.
I want to see. I want to see. Obviously, I heard
Oh,
it's.
y'all are
But
so
there's-
uncultured.
would you rather have the power to gently nudge anyone's decision, or have complete puppet master control of 5 people?
Let me puppet control
Yeah, I was
people.
gonna say, do I get to pick the 5 people? Because that would be great. That's a no-brainer.
I want to play puppet master.
Who
You can't
got?
see me. Who am I doing?
Look like you're playing a high organ.
It's like Freddie got fingered. Daddy, what's yeah.
Oh shit!
I want to control people. Give me that level of control.
Anyone's decision.
Oh yeah.
Gently nudge anyone.
Oh yeah. Vladimir Putin. Got him. Jerry Jones.
Oh,
Sitting
no, but you're
president.
picking the 5. You're picking the 5 people.
I'm running the motherfucking world. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I think I'm not. That's too much pressure for me, man.
No.
It's way too much going on with
Nah,
controlling
this world's
everything.
about to be a lot cooler with me in charge.
I think I just want to.
We're gonna tax the churches. We're gonna tax the rich. We're gonna make marijuana legal.
I have a
and not only
question.
that,
Can
it's
we
gonna
do
be
something about
governmentally run.
brisket prices? Because that is far too. And beef jerky.
And gas is all free.
Gas is free.
We're gonna naturalize gas. Okay, it's gotta be for the people, by the people. Oh yeah, everything.
All right. So
We're gonna
that
make
was
the rich pay
pick
for
your
it.
poison.
It's too much pressure for me. I think I'm gonna gently nudge someone's decision.
Let's move on
You're
to.
gonna go to Chipotle and go, give me a little extra chicken.
Exactly, dude. They're not.
A little-
There's no
little bit more
no
chicken.
spoon shaking in this
And you're
restaurant.
not charging me for guac.
Yeah, and I want more guac
Fuck outta
than
here.
that. Whereas I'm trying to like take over the world.
He just wants extra guacamole.
Alex has more simple ambitions.
All right, so let's move on to questionable behavior from the internet. All right, and I haven't read most of these. This first one, it says, "Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that I don't like the gift she got me and asking for something else?"
I brought you this one. I think it's pretty easy to
All right,
decide.
I've
but
got.
Let's hear it.
Okay, my girlfriend, 22 female, and I, 26 male, been together for almost 4 years. And
Note
lived
those
together.
ages, by the way. Did you say it one more time?
22 female and 26 male.
He's 26 years old.
Okay. All right. We'll keep that in mind. Have been together for almost 4 years and live together. She has a stable career and has bought herself a car and was taught to drive in high school. I was never taught to drive, and it's not really necessary because I can Uber, take the bus, or my girlfriend can drive. That's kind of sus. She's offered to... I don't want my wife to drive. It is scary as fuck.
Dude, Claire waits until the last minute to brake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like a grandpa. Like, you got to ease into that. She's like, yeah, but it works. I was like, yeah, it's gonna work
Easy
till
on
it
them.
doesn't work. I'm the guy that's like putting my foot down, like I'm hitting an imaginary brake, and I'm like, fucking brake already. Drives me crazy.
She's offered to teach me, but I declined because I'm not really interested in learning, because I don't plan on getting a car since they are a lot of money. So you're broke. So my birthday was yesterday, and my girlfriend was really excited to give me my gift. It was private driving lessons, which admittedly cost her several $100s. I was really offended because I don't want to learn to drive. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. She hyped up the gift like I'd love it, but I hate it. It seems more like it's for her because she wants me to learn to drive than it is for me. I got really upset and disappointed when I opened it, and she kept pushing to ask why I didn't like it. I told her again that I don't care for driving, and it seemed like it was a really impersonal gift because I don't even want my license or a car, so why would I want this? I felt like she doesn't even know me. Oh, this guy's a fucking bitch.
So we already know the answer.
Matt agrees.
And she got really upset that, so I suggested that she return the lessons and get me something I would like better. Now she's calling me an asshole and said the lessons are non-refundable and is really upset with me. I don't think I'm the asshole because I've told her before that I don't want to drive, and I feel like she's trying to change me.
Trying to change me.
So now she's trying to change you into a functioning fucking adult?
Make you more of a functioning person.
So now she's being immature and won't drive me anywhere and tells me I can Uber if I want to go somewhere.
This is the best part.
Good
Shout
for
out to the
you.
girlfriend.
Even if it's somewhere she was going to go already. Good for her.
He's like, gonna fuck around and lose a girlfriend.
I would be surprised if they're
sounds
still
like she
together.
needs to fucking lose him.
Exactly.
Like she went thrifting
She should
into
drive him somewhere and just leave him.
Uber back, bitch.
Yeah, right.
Like she went thrifting into the grocery store without me. In parentheses, he wrote, "We always go together," and said if I really wanted to go that badly, I can Uber. It's not even like I ask her for rides ever. I just tag along. Oh, so you're a mooch. If she's already going somewhere. I get Ubers to and from work and have a good job, so it's pointless for me to even get a car or a license. When I told her that, she said that she's tired of always being the driver and likes to be the passenger sometimes, but to me it sounds like she gave me a gift that she wants. Because if she hates being the driver so much, I suggested that I could get lessons for her birthday, not mine, and that upset her even more. She said that it isn't a gift for her, and she'd be upset if I got myself driving lessons for her birthday. I told her basically, quote, "See, so you'd be upset if I got you something that you think is for me for your birthday," unquote. She said yes. So even though I explained to her that there's a double standard, she's still insisting that I'm the asshole. You, sir, are the asshole. You're a fucking bitch. You probably moan when you wipe and you shut your car doors with your hip.
All right, we got that answer. And the comments were great. Everyone was just saying what Matt is. They're like, read between the lines. She's tired of driving you everywhere. She's trying to make you more of an independent
she's 4
person.
years younger than he is.
And he's mooching off of her.
That's the thing. It was a very easy one, so sorry. It wasn't very complicated
we all
to figure it
agree.
out. But I just couldn't
trying.
believe that this is a scenario that's happening in a relationship somewhere.
And I read
And
the
she's
comments
being so
too.
nice about it initially, like giving him driving lessons, like just telling him without telling him, and he gets the message. He just doesn't want to change, obviously.
Yeah,
but I love her response.
All the comments were the same, like agreeing with us, and the OP, original poster, never responded to any comments. I think he got the point that he's in the wrong. And once all those comments came in, he just
he's for sure avoiding cones right now, trying to learn to drive.
Dude, I just don't know why you wouldn't want to be like self-sufficient. Like, I love driving. I don't like my car, my new car has like lane keeping assist, and it has like all these fancy features. To me, like, I actually like the physical act of driving.
Hey,
like,
tell me that color again.
It was Sonic Gray Pearl.
It's a sweet color. It's nice.
Sonic Gray Pearl. But yeah, I love driving. I love cars. So
and people
I don't
were
get
like,
it.
and some of the comments were like, "What if there's ever an emergency? And she can't
Or
drive?
you're fucked.
Yeah, what happens then? What happens if you're home alone and you need to get to an hospital? Like, I guess I'll just call an Uber. It's like you're 26 and you're relying on other people to get you places.
I don't get it.
And she,
Whatever,
like you said,
dude.
it's a subtle nudge. Be like, hey, just at least learn. Like, I'm not saying like, hey, we're gonna take a cross country trip and you're driving.
Yeah.
But at least learn the basics, so in case a situation arises, or if we go out on date night, you can drive me there. Because she said I like to be the passenger.
This guy fucking wears butt plugs. Guaranteed. All right. So the next one. Am I the asshole for changing my Netflix password? My sister asked for my Netflix account a few months ago, and I thought it was for her, but then I found out a few days later that it was for her boyfriend to use. And in parentheses, she says she uses her other friend's account. This was fine. I never asked him to pay for it because it wasn't a big deal. He used his own profile. A few days ago, we were all having a family dinner at her house, and she started making fun of me for my preferences and calling me stupid for watching, quote, stupid shows. I asked her how she would even know what shows I watched, and she admitted to using her boyfriend's account to snoop through my account. I told her that this was not okay, and I don't want her going through my preferences and then going so far as to making fun of me for it, and I changed the password to the account. She called me yesterday yelling about how I had no right to do that, calling me a bitch. Now, admittedly, I do feel a little bad because her boyfriend technically didn't do anything wrong. Does changing the password make me an asshole?
No. I don't think so. That was like a privilege that was given to you, and the fact that you abused it by calling somebody mean names, fuck you. You don't get that anymore. And she was like snooping on someone's account. That's weird.
I agree. You're not an asshole. You pay for it. You can do with what you choose. But
I let out my information to a few people, and as long as,
like
they're not weird about it, I have no problem with it.
I wouldn't have a problem like if I gave you my Netflix and you got my account just to see what I was watching. Like, it's not personal information.
It's not, but at the same time, I wouldn't judge you on it.
Well,
I might look
exactly.
and be like, what's Matt watching? Maybe I'm interested, but I wouldn't be like, look at this fucking idiot watching this stupid show.
But don't let your fucking whole fucking personality like be tied into like what you watch on Netflix. Like, that sounds what that is.
I don't know. I think the fact that you did someone a solid and then they made fun of you in front of other people.
Overall, the OP is
move.
Right. The OP is right.
Yeah, that was a bit. Because if it
he was
never came to
he was
that,
just being a little sensitive about getting made fun of. I feel like for what he's watching.
I would be too if I did someone a solid and then they made fun of me.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I said, if none of this ever happened, it'd be like, yeah, you can share my profile.
I just don't think I would give a fuck if my sister was making fun of what I was watching, but then again,
depends on my sisters.
Exactly. If she's really going at him and roasting him about whatever he's watching, I'm curious what he was watching first off. But if just really going at him, I can see where he's just like, fuck you then. And then
that's what I'm saying. Is like, you want to be like that to me?
Bronies at My Little Ponies.
Yeah, they're bronies. That's what I'm saying. Like, I did you a solid, and you want to go and make fun of me? Like after lurking on my account. Well, you know what? I can change the password. That's all I got to do.
I'd be like, you're making fun of me. You can't afford a fucking Netflix account.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like $8.
You want to talk shit?
Moron.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. You talk shit about me, but you can't afford Netflix.
Get out of here with your fucking broke ass. All right.
I think we all agreed on all of them. Or we got one more, or is that it?
No, we got one more.
All right.
So, am I the asshole for not leaving the playground? Yesterday, I was at the neighborhood playground with my kids. While pushing my son on the swing, a girl, about 8-ish, came up to me and asked if we could leave because one of her friends was scared of my daughter. My daughter, 3, who is currently playing on the other side of the playground with another similar age girl. I asked why and was told that my daughter was scared because she was loud sometimes. I said, no, we weren't leaving, but we were happy to share the playground if they wanted to play, or they could wait until we left. But we had planned to stay until sunset, about 30 minutes away. The girl said they had to go home at sunset, so could we leave early? I didn't feel it was fair to my kids, so we did not leave early. The girls chose to leave instead of playing. I have no idea what prompted this. My guess is that they wanted the playground to themselves, but it's just a guess. We've never played with these children before, so I'm not sure why they chose to pick on my kid. She isn't any louder than any other kids and was currently playing quietly. I had a friend tell me that I was being petty for not cutting our outing short and leaving after I was asked to leave. Am I the asshole?
Nope. I'm not going to let some 8-year-old kid dictate how I, spend my free time with my children.
Like, who the fuck are you?
It's a public park. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all here to play together, and if you don't want to play, over here with me, then sorry, I'm not leaving. I'm here on the swings with my kid and playing. No, you're not the asshole. That's weird that an 8-year-old
go to the other side of the park if you're scared of my kid being loud.
And that's an 8-year-old afraid of a 3-year-old?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
A 3-year-old.
That's like...
like a grown man being afraid of like a 13-year-old or something.
That's like the people that say that like words are violence. Like that's where that shit starts.
Yeah.
Like when they get.
And again, if you think about it, if you give into that little 8-year-old, like give that little 8-year-old a taste of power, that little bitch is going to be bossing people around for the rest of her life.
That's probably
that's a young Karen right there.
That's probably where that question or where that request is coming from. She probably has that sort of power at home or whatever.
Yeah,
getting away with
never gets told no.
Little brat,
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? I don't want you playing at this park anymore. Can you leave? I just like no. You can,
dude. I would be.
Can you do long division? Didn't think so. Dumb little kid.
I couldn't do long division.
Either, it's easy, dude. I'll teach you.
Okay.
I'll teach you.
It's pretty simple.
Okay.
I was really good at basic math. I was like in UIL and all that until we got to like algebra 2 and calculus. I was like, all right, this is way over my head. I peaked like in junior high with math.
Yeah, and his friend called him petty for not leaving. Shit,
Yeah.
dude, I would have been.
Nope.
I would have been extra petty. I would have been as loud. I would have been louder than the children.
Exactly.
Than my child. So.
I was trying to find another one, but I don't think I can find one. So that was questionable behavior from the internet. That was a good little. I think we all agreed for the most part. All right, so I've been holding in a pee, and since we kind of broke the since we kind of did this last
that
week,
was a little erotic.
let's
Matt's butt plug almost fell out.
let's take a potty break and a smoke break and whatever else we got to do. So we will be right back. And we're back. Bladders are relieved. Cigarettes were smoked. Discussions were had. All right, let's move on to the movie review. Like I said, we are reviewing Friday. The movie Friday came out in 1995. It had a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. The budget was only $3.5 million, and it grossed $27.4 million in the box office. Fun fact: this movie was filmed in 20 days.
I have that down too.
Damn,
that's crazy.
That's crazy, crazy. And just the cast: Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Nia Long, Bernie Mac, John Witherspoon. I know there's a couple other ones I'm missing.
Well, I got a fun fact.
Faison Love.
Yeah. This is Claire's nickname is actually Big Worm.
Is it?
And I got that picture saved as her contact information.
Nice. Yep. Which one is it? Is it one he's got the rollers in?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd I put that? I don't know where my phone is. I'll show you guys later. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's a great cast. And I was going to say, too, just quick RIP. All these guys are now dead. John Witherspoon, Michael Clark Duncan, John Lister Jr., and Bernie Mac.
But I didn't realize Michael Clark Duncan was in it until I looked up interesting facts about the movie.
Yep, and so I can mark that off in here because I had that down. And I thought I was going to be cool, but...
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, I feel like most of my interesting facts we all kind of could easily look up, but one of the first ones I saw was that, and there's probably a reason why they had to shoot the movie in 20 days, is that it was where it was filmed at. Did y'all see that?
Yep.
So I got the cast and crew were warned well ahead of time not to wear anything red during filming.
Yep.
126th Street, where the movie was shot, was well inside the territory of the Crips Street Gang. So it's interesting. I had no idea until looking that up.
And that was, I think, what's his name? He was Red, who played Red. I forget his name. DJ Pooh.
Co-writer.
That's where he grew up. Was that neighborhood. I think they said Craig's house was actually his grandma's or somebody's house. Yeah, Craig's house was.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, so co-written by Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, who played Craig and Red in the movie.
Yep. All right, so let's get started. So we open the movie with Craig's family sleeping and Craig waking up to a Jehovah's Witness banging on the door. And
he ain't having that.
No, he wasn't having it. And he's like, "What did she say? Like,
would you like to accept Jehovah into
or he's
your
like,
life?
"Are you ready for Jehovah's return?" And he just slams the door, and she's like, "Well, fuck you."
She goes, "Let's go to the next house."
Yeah, she's like, "Come on, sister, half dead ass looking motherfucker." So that's the opening scene, and then we go back to the house, and Ice Cube he excitedly pours himself a big bowl of cereal, only to find out that there's no milk.
Oh, it's so disappointing.
And he throws like a big ass like kitchen ladle in the fucking bowl.
Yeah, he's got a giant mixing bowl.
Yeah,
too. It's not
yeah.
a regular bowl. Don't you think you would notice that milk's nearly gone though?
When you
I
pick
was
it up,
thinking that.
yeah,
Come
you
on.
would.
All right.
You would. And then John Witherspoon, his dad, comes in and with one of the best lines. He's like, every time I'm coming in the kitchen, you in the kitchen eating up all the goddamn food. He's like, eat up all the pig's feet,
All the
chitlins.
All the greens.
Yeah,
He goes, I like chicken feet.
Yeah.
He goes, I like all this.
he was so good in every scene.
Every scene.
Oh, he was him. Like I said, him and Chris Tucker were the two best in this whole movie when it came to comedy. You notice the cereal too that he was having?
It was Captain Crunch knockoff, but
It was Crunchies. I said Crunch don't have his captain's yet. His captain title, or was it just a knockoff?
it was. I don't know. I
I didn't know
just
if
noticed it was
it was Crunchies, but I was
Yeah.
like, maybe they didn't call it Captain Crunch until '96.
maybe, I don't know. Next we see Craig's dad in the bathroom, and he asks him how he gets fired on his day off, and it's a classic scene. He's in there, plopping shit in the toilet.
Yeah, there was
spraying.
a sound effect. We hear a giant plop.
So he's asking him how he gets fired on his day off, and he's like, "Hey man, there's a pamphlet, over there." He's like, "I don't want to be a dog catcher."
He goes, I hate dogs. He goes, that's the beauty of it. I go, I hate dogs too.
He's like, I take a dog and I'm like, bam, 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 up his ass all day. It's my pleasure.
R.I.P. John Witherspoon.
So a backstory on this movie for me, it kind of holds a special place in my heart, and it shouldn't because I mentioned earlier I got a brother that's like 11 years older. I watched this movie around 95, 96 when it came out. He showed it to me.
Really?
And I didn't pick up on like half the shit, obviously, because I was, 10, 11 years old.
Uh-huh.
But, so I've been watching this movie for, I don't know, almost, 20 years?
25
over 20
years.
So next, Craig gets a call from his girlfriend, and she's accusing him of being at a show with another chick.
Well, she's in bed with another man.
Well, she's in bed with another dude, and she's got the nails and the hair, and she's flicking her hair and clicking her nails and sucking her teeth, and she just seems like a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, not the kind of girl you want to settle down with. Absolutely not.
Nope.
And Craig knows that.
Yeah, Craig knows.
He's here to hit it and quit it.
Yeah.
Classic Craig.
Classic Craig.
Just a chicken head. Shout out Project Pat. Let me find out where I'm
We're
at.
getting
I'm
some
sorry,
weird
guys.
shout outs. We had shout out Pakistan.
And
now
then I got a
Project Pat.
fucking call from Pakistan like 2 days later.
You're
joking.
He sent me a screenshot
I took a screenshot. I was like, dude, I'm fucking scared.
of all the numbers to get.
Of
it said
all the
Pakistan.
numbers, I get a call from fucking Pakistan.
Hey man, could just be a listener.
Let's
looking
call
for-
him back right now.
Did you answer it?
No, fuck no, I didn't answer
Dude,
it.
let's call him right now. Let's see what's up.
Call him live on air.
Okay, and then Craig's dad delivers one of the most quotable lines from the movie, in my opinion. He comes out of the bathroom. He says, don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes.
I've said that so many times.
So many times.
And meant it too.
Yeah.
So Craig's mom, we see Craig's mom for the first time. And, after he didn't get any cereal, she's cooking up some bacon, some eggs, some sausage, some leftover pork chops. And he finds out that she didn't make him any. She's like, oh, no, this ain't for you.
Everyone eating good in this movie besides Craig.
Besides him.
And then when he tells, she's like, just eat some cereal. He's like, we got no more milk.
Put water on
Put a
it.
little water in it. That's what his
It won't
dad
hurt.
tells him
It
and his
won't
mom
hurt.
tells him. Like, man, I would much rather just
And
eat that dry cereal.
Lauren tells me all the time. I'm like, hey, we're out of milk. She's like, just use water.
That's
fine.
disgusting. Is she serious
not
or is
an
that just a
option.
line
No,
for
that's a
Friday?
line. Yeah, 'cause she's a big Friday
Okay,
fan, too.
okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, she's
Well,
a
then
big
that's a
Friday
great
fan,
line.
too.
Yeah.
So after that, we get our first Smokey appearance, who again is played by a very young Chris Tucker. And I didn't look, but was this his first movie role?
No, he had small roles before. I think this was his biggest role, but then I got like his next 7 movies after that because you can tell he's breakthrough.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, it was Bed
Hour.
Presidents, Fifth Element, Money Talks, Jackie Brown, and then Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then he took like a 6-year break and came back with Silver's Lining Playbook, and what was it Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk or something? But he went from like a rising star. And then it really just kind of got to him, like Dave Chappelle, like the fame got to him and the pressure and just too much. So he kind of took a step back. But, dude, who doesn't love Chris Tucker?
Oh, he's great.
And then we see Big Worm, played by Faison Love, for the first time. And we find out that Big Worm's suspicious that Smokey is smoking from his stash. So he pulls up, and I think it's probably a 64 Impala. He's got it on switches. Yep, he's got it on switches. So
I got to put, Smokey is breaking the rule number 4 of the 10 crack commandments.
Mm-hmm.
You never get high on your own supply.
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
That's a rookie mistake.
He has no second thoughts about it. Though,
No.
in the entire movie.
He literally burns through all that weed. I would be a terrible drug dealer too, though.
So then Craig and him are outside, and they go back and forth about him getting fired on his day off. And
everyone gives him shit. That's such a great recurring
Smokey gives
theme.
another classic line. He's like, "What are you stealing boxes for? You trying to build a clubhouse?" A classic line. Me and my brother, and someone will be said, "What are you trying to do? Build a clubhouse?" And that's the line we still say to each other. So then they end up sitting on the front porch, and Smokey tries to spark up a joint. And he delivers another classic line. He said, "I know you don't smoke weed, but I'm going to get you high today because it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do." Which is, again, another line I've said many times in the past.
You can rationalize, yeah.
Yeah. Next, we meet Debo for the first time.
A.K.A. James Harrison from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. In a flashback, when Smokey is telling Craig the story of how Red got knocked out for asking for his bike back.
Dude,
and
poor Red.
Yeah. He's like, "Man, my dad's tripping." But
he goes, "It's really like our bike, but we can just keep it at my house."
And he turns around and just, "Baya." And then we get another iconic line when Smokey stands over and says, "You got knocked the fuck out," which I say that still to this day.
Yep.
And then I wrote, fun fact, Michael Clark Duncan got his uncredited movie debut in that scene. He was one of the dice players in the background.
I was thinking, too, you think he auditioned for the role of Debo, but they're like, "Dude, you look so nice. You have a golden smile."
Yeah.
Like this guy, was it Tommy Lister Jr.?
Yeah.
Look, he's got, lazy eye, shout out, me too. So it's like, this guy looks crazy. Michael Clark Duncan is like such a nice looking guy. He's intimidating and he's huge, but it's like, you could play dice, like you just sit in the corner.
So after that, Smokey and Craig go to Smokey's house, and we meet Smokey's mom. And I wrote, who can't be more than like 10 years older than him.
Yeah.
She's like super young.
Well,
it's not, really the case, I'm sure, in the movie, but.
And she has eyes for Craig too, man. Everyone wants Craig in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah. So they go in Smokey's room, and he has an iguana, which I didn't take Smokey as a reptile owner. But he had his pet iguana, and he's in there smoking weed, and he had a couple cool posters. He's got a Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. He's got I think it was a Cypress Hill poster. There's a couple other posters I noticed that were pretty cool. And then Smokey's mom comes in, and he gives him $1. She's like, "Go get me some cigarettes." Hands him $1. He's like, "Well, what is this? This ain't enough." She's like, "Make it enough." Yep.
You gonna talk about who's working at that gas station though? Fucking Chance the Rapper looking guy.
Yeah.
You didn't see that guy look just like Chance the Rapper?
Dude mopping?
Yeah, the dude working at the gas station.
It ain't even wet over here.
Looks just like him.
So at the store, we meet Ezel for the first time. Ezel the crackhead. He's laid up on the sidewalk with his Windex, waiting to wash somebody's car. And then in the store, he tries to slip and fall.
Yeah, he tries
to. My neck, my back.
That's another
my neck and my back. I'd say that all the time.
Yeah. And then he's like, "I want." How much did he say? He goes, "I'll settle for."
He goes, "I want $150,000, but I'll
settle for 20." He's like, "That's how you get them, man. Big settlements."
He's like, "You know how much you can get for a slip and fall in a store?" And then he's like bartering way down. He's like, "How about $1.50 and some envelopes?"
He went from $150,000
to some envelopes.
To some envelopes.
So they get the cigarettes and they come back, and then this is the first time we see that fine ass Miss Parker.
Yeah, I put Miss Parker. Damn. So many fucking hotties in this neighborhood. There's so many hotties in this neighborhood.
She knows exactly what she's doing. And then after that, we were back on Craig's front porch, and it wouldn't be a Mild and Lazy Guys movie review if we didn't get a montage. So we get a montage of Smokey just smoking weed. He's impersonating Michael Jackson. They're like play fighting. He's smoking a bunch of weed. He's got like 5 joints in his mouth at one point. And then we get a Bernie Mac, and I wrote R.I.P. We get a Bernie Mac appearance, and he asks for, "Is it Sister Jones in?" And Craig says, "Nope." He says, "Brother Jones?" He said, "Nope, they both at work." And then Smokey says, "That's where your ass should be." And so he tries to get some weed off of Smokey, and then he notices Mrs. Parker. And
Yeah,
he
so the
heads
man of
across
God tries to get weed first, and he goes,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go fuck this married lady.
Yeah. Yeah, so he heads across the street to Mrs. Parker's house. And then we get a flashback scene. We see Hector roll up.
Hector and Joker. I love those
Hector
names.
and Joker. We get a flashback scene of Smokey smoking angel dust, and he ends up in a chicken coop.
Dude, that's fucked up. Give somebody some angel dust
Yeah.
unknowingly like
Unknowingly,
For sure.
yeah.
Apparently, that scene, when I was looking up the interesting facts, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there was people from the neighborhood that were like sitting in the back of that flashback scene, and were kind of giving the crew shit and not moving because they knew that they were on their own property, that they didn't have to.
Yep.
So I
you
like
see
YouTube
people-
that scene because I never noticed them before. It's not, they're just kind of chilling back there. Nothing.
Yeah, it's just
not
like
doing
people in the
anything.
background.
But-
yeah, I read that too.
I just wonder if they had many issues filming the movie.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah,
If you're in the middle of Crip fucking territory,
exactly. Yeah.
it's South Central Los Angeles, yeah. And then we see Debo show up again, and he pulls up to Craig's house looking for money. And they decide to break into his neighbor Stanley's house.
Yep.
And he takes
Stanley's
Smokey with
such a
him.
nerd.
He really is.
Yeah, he really is. He just wants people to stay off his grass.
That's all he cares about is his shitty little grass. And wearing a robe.
and
Who
his
wears a robe in
Corvette.
South Central?
So yeah, he ropes
Stanley.
Smokey, who's on probation, and Smokey never had a choice from the beginning. He was
No,
going in the
Debo
house.
doesn't give you a choice.
No.
And Craig's the lookout.
So Craig's supposed to be on lookout, and while he's on lookout, the phone rings, so he has to go inside. And then Miss Parker, I guess Mr. Parker, comes home, and he's played by
Black Vern Troyer.
I forget the name,
I
but
forgot his name.
he's on Bad Santa.
Yeah, the Bad Santa.
Yeah,
There you go.
and then Smokey and Debo barely make it out of the house before Stanley comes home.
Yeah, he just looks at him. Craig just looks at Stanley and just whistles as loud as possible.
Yeah,
It was
like that's not obvious.
hiding it at all.
Yeah, not obvious at all.
So they come out with $200, and Smokey's like, "Yeah, we got $200," and Debo's like, "I got $200." And then Smokey finally gets Craig to smoke with him.
Yeah, but I think that's where a lot of us learned about the puff puff pass method.
Yeah, that's another line.
That's where it would stem from.
That's where I learned it from.
Really?
That's another line that was used in
Yeah, it's like
many of circles.
I don't know, maybe like Cheech and Chong probably said that way before. You know, they made movies like 70s
Fucking up
and
the
80s.
rotation. I liked when this is when I kind of started writing down some lines, but this is supposed to be Indo. It smells like outdo. Dude,
Yeah,
gets-
yeah. Smells like outdo.
I wrote down the line. I love this one. He goes inside. He goes, "You want some Kool-Aid?" Go, man, you know I want some Kool-Aid.
I said,
I said, "Damn, now I want some Kool-Aid."
the way he
And
looks
then
at
they got no sugar. He's like, "Man, you never got two things that go together. You got Kool-Aid, no sugar. You got peanut butter, no jelly. You got ham, no burger."
This movie had so many great lines. Like Ice Cube and DJ Pooh like wrote a great script.
So yeah, and then Felicia shows up. She asks Smokey if she can borrow his car, and then Craig delivers probably the most memorable line from the movie that is carried on to this day when he says, "Bye, Felicia."
Which was it really that big of a thing before it became viral? Because
No.
No, I think
That was probably
that
a
was something last
throwaway
couple
line.
years ago. Yeah, because he
probably-
was stoned.
Yeah.
He didn't want to say it. He just goes, "Bye, Felicia," and then for some reason that just became like the most iconic line in the whole
okay,
movie.
yeah, because I was about to say I've watched this movie. Obviously,
No, like when I watched that back in the day, I was never like, "Oh, that was a great fucking line."
Yeah.
I never got why that became so popular.
But that is the most popular line from this movie.
and he didn't even say it like with an attitude.
No, he's like, "Bye, Felicia."
Yeah, he goes, "Bye, Felicia," because she was trying to get, like, let me get some money for you. Let me get like, Smokey's car. Let me get
Well,
something.
yeah, she asked all Smokey, but then she just turns to Craig and he goes, "Bye, Felicia." Like,
Yeah.
he's,
Didn't even get it out.
yep.
And then
Doesn't stop her from coming back.
No, oh no, she'll come back.
So
We see her
crackheads
again. Next, we see Craig tripping out because he's too high. And I wrote down, this seems like an acid trip rather than just being high because he's
Yeah, he's
got tracers.
somewhere else.
He's imagining he opens up the cupboard to look for sugar and there's a big worm's head in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And then Debbie knocks on the door.
Oh, Debbie.
And yeah, Neil Long, man. And they Smokey.
aged beautifully.
Oh yeah.
She's a babe.
What do they say? Black don't crack.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
It's older than beer, sweeter than juice. She's older than motherfucker too.
No, you switch that up, man. She's blacker than a motherfucker.
Black, yeah, I did
But she's
switch
not.
that
She's
up.
like smooth caramel. Jesus.
Oh, Debbie's
Maybe
fine.
there may be another Does meet the court.
We're coming up with show title right now.
All right.
She is though, man. If you look her up right now, it's like she's beautiful.
So yeah, Debbie knocks on the door and Smokey freaks out thinking it's the cops. And then they're sitting there talking and Smokey's asking if she's got any friends that he can hook her up with, which leads into one of the funniest fucking lines later on in the movie. But he's on the phone with a chick that Debbie is setting him up with, and she describes herself as looking like Janet Jackson. So he's all excited. He thinks he's got a little honey coming over about 7:30 that night.
That's when Craig slides over on the couch and starts getting
macking.
Debbie,
he starts macking, and then Craig's dad comes home because he's got bit in the ass by a dog.
His pants are ripped.
His pants are ripped. And then next we see Big Worm pull up in an ice cream truck on Dayton's and is looking for his money. And he tells Smokey that he better have either his money or his weed, or he's killing Smokey and Craig. So he does this trick where he starts counting out the money. He goes 20, 40, 60,
I've done that before.
80, 100. He just flipped it over, 120, 140. And he's like, that's $100.
I do it all the time. When I have a few dollars in my hand, I'm just like, it turns into $20. I just flip it around. It's such a good little trick.
So then he tells one of the kids, because he orders chili cheese Fritos. He's like, man, where's my Fritos? He's like, man, we're shut down, fat boy. He's like, give me back my money. He's like, it's my money. So he pulls out.
That's a bold statement from Faison Love, calling a little kid fat.
Pot, kettle.
Yeah, right.
So Debbie shows back up at the house because she forgot her purse. While her and Craig inside, Craig's girlfriend pulls up. And, I mentioned I'm a Honda nerd. She pulled up in a pretty sweet little about 94 EG sedan. That was a pretty cool little car. Smokey leaves. Hold on, where did I leave him? Am I out of order here?
No, I think you're
right. Did you take the smoky shit outside? Because I thought
that's where he's going. He says, I got to go. My stomach hurts.
That's where I'm going, yeah.
Okay. So
Craig walks out of the house with Debbie and his girlfriend's on the porch. And she's like, oh, hell no. Who the fuck is this bitch? And, Debbie just walks on. And then Craig takes his girlfriend in the house because he's going to straighten her out. And that's when Smokey's like, man, I'm going to go home. My stomach don't feel right. So he goes home because he has a shit and he's locked out of his house. So he decides to go back to Craig's. And he asks Craig's dad if he could use the bathroom. He's like, you going number 1 or number 2? He's like, number 2. He's like, nobody goes number 2 in this house other than me.
He goes, you ain't going to drop no stinky loads in there.
No stinky loads.
While he's eating like and what is he even eating? Like a Philly cheesesteak or something?
He's picking the meat. He's picking the meat out. And he does
That's exactly how he's...
Yeah, and he does the thing with his teeth, and he rubs
disgusting.
it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this happens. It happens sometime around there, but he asks... I may be jumping ahead, so I apologize. But when he asks Craig to get him like a glass of water, and he's in there... He's laying on his stomach because he got bit in the ass by the dog.
And you can see it bandaged up.
Yeah, it's bandaged up. But the funny thing is, it's another thing I saw in the interesting thing. This is the last one I have, but he's watching a movie called Man's Best Friend from 1993. Y'all know what this is? I didn't know either. He's watching this movie called Man's Best Friend, which is a movie about a genetically engineered dog that becomes homicidal.
Holy shit. That sounds like a movie we need to review.
If that's a real movie.
That's what it says.
That's worth a review.
I haven't seen it either, but I just think it's funny that he's in there watching like a dog or a movie about.
And I remember he's like, "Run, mailman, run!"
Yeah,
then he laughs.
Gonna get your ass, Mr. Postman. So Smokey's trying to take a shit. He goes back to his house. He's locked out, and he decides, you know what? I'm just going to shit outside of his house. And he's caught by Ezel,
person.
And he tells him, and it's another quotable, iconic line. He tells him not to tell anybody, and Ezel walks like 4 steps. He's like, "Hey, Smokey back here taking a shit."
He tells him too. He goes, "Hey, when you're done with that, I'll come clean it up for $2."
$2, yeah, I like that part. He's like, "I'll pick that up for $2."
He's a fucking businessman, dude.
He's like, "Well, I ain't gonna tell anyone else."
Because he came by to wash the car because when Smokey got him something at the gas station. So I came by to wash the car.
Did he pay for that 40? Because he went back and grabbed a 40.
Yeah, that had to been that then.
And I never saw Smokey pay for it. I was like, he just walked out of that store.
Oh, he for sure
40.
did, yeah.
So after that, Craig almost has the money from his girlfriend before Felicia shows back up.
Oh yeah, he was about to get all that money.
Well,
she wants to
asked for
borrow a
toast-
fucking VCR.
VCR. That's right.
She asked for a VCR.
She said she
we're
wanted to
95.
record like a record. I think she said a Lions game or
Something
I might have
like
misheard
She's
her.
going
but-
to the pawn shop.
Oh, for sure. I just think
about?
it's funny that her what her excuse is.
So
It's like,
for-
what? You don't need to record nothing.
remember, we're in
Lions
95, so
game.
VCRs were still a thing.
Yeah, that's probably $300 right there.
Kids, if you don't know what a VCR is, Google it. Let me see. So yeah,
His
so
girlfriend
he,
gets mad and who's this bitch?
yeah, he almost gets the money. Felicia shows up and ruins it. She peels off. Craig is then worried about the threat that Big Worm made to Smokey, so he's freaking out. He's telling Smokey, you walk around here, not worrying, but he knows where my mama stay. He knows where your mama stays. He's not playing around. Smokey finally realizes that he needs to go. He needs to own up and face consequences and tell Big Worm that Craig had nothing to do with it. But I think you kind of see Craig not wanting him to, go out like that. So then you see Craig go into his room and get his gun, and his dad walks in and catches him, and then his dad gives him a little talk, saying all you need to be a man, or his fist.
I really like that interaction between him and his dad too.
It was like a one serious moment
Yeah.
with John Witherspoon.
Well, because you kind of see, you don't necessarily feel a whole lot of love between him and his dad. But it's also one of those things. He's 22. You don't have, your dad's probably, all dads are on you when you don't have a job to go get a job. So, but in this scene,
He wants what's best for him.
yeah,
though.
yeah. He's like, you kids are so quick to pick up a gun. Back in my day, all you had to defend yourself were, your fists.
You
Yeah.
live to fight another
yeah,
day.
you got to take your ass whooping, but you live to fight
Which is
another
good
day.
advice
Yeah.
because if you use a gun and do something stupid, you go to jail for the
Well, he
rest of your
says
life.
he's got a cousin or an uncle.
An uncle. Yeah, he's like your
Yeah,
uncle picked up a
22
gun
years-
too.
22 years old. Yep.
Yeah.
Which I was thinking, is that the fucking uncle from Friday After Next?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
I have to watch that and see what.
We'll have to watch
any
that.
backstory.
We'll be next week with that review.
So yeah, it says his dad gives him a talk, tells him to be a man and use his fist instead of using a gun. And I wrote, which is probably bad advice in this situation because he's dealing with Big Worm. He's not going to use his fist.
Yeah.
So I'd want my gun too. And then Debo shows back up and Red's there, and poor old Red, he can't catch a break. He's like, "What you got on my 40?" And Craig's like, "I thought you had $200." He's like, "Yeah, but I want Red's money." And so he snatches his chain, and there's two more lines that are memorable. So he snatches his chain, rides off, and Red's like, "My grandmama gave me that chain." And then when he runs off, he's kind of swinging his arm.
Flailing his arms. Yeah.
And then Smokey says, he gonna cry in the car. I
love
use
that line.
to this
He's
day.
gonna cry in the car.
I use that line to this day. He gonna cry in the car.
Before all that, I just like how they all start taking their chains off because then Debo's coming.
They already know.
But Red's just like, I'm just gonna tuck mine in.
Yeah.
Like the way he says it, and he kind of stands really like stiff, so his chain can't be seen. But Debo finds it still.
And he rips it right off. Man, my grandmama gave me that chain.
He's like, "Why didn't y'all help me? I'd help y'all." And he's like, and Craig's like, "You didn't help me when you tried to choke me out and smoke in the backyard." He's like, "Man, that was different."
That was different.
Let me see. Next, we see that the girl that Debbie hooks up. Oh my God! The girl that Debbie hooks up Smokey with pulls up to the house, and she is not as advertised. She's fucking bald headed. She's
my
big.
favorite part.
She farts as she gets out of the car.
Does she?
Yeah, there's a little tooth that comes out when she opens the door and swings
I
out.
just love how she just takes her hat off with all the hair, just like
He's
"Ooh,
like,
this-"
why don't you go down and get something to eat? I know you're hungry. She's like, see, the thing about that is
know you're hungry.
I ate twice before I got here. She takes her hat off.
He's like, "Don't call me, I'll call you." He goes, "Don't ever come here again. I'll come see you."
His facial expressions in that scene are just so
it's so
funny. He's
good.
just like he's so mad, but he's like not.
Yeah, he thought
saying-
Janet Jackson was coming by for something.
So-
but he's not being like. I mean, he's being rude to her.
He's not being mean.
But he's not being mean to
Yeah.
her. He's just like
He's trying to
letting
get
her down
himself
easy.
out of the situation.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So Craig next tries to get the $200 from his mom and his sister, and they don't give it to him. And then the next scene, which is one of the funniest lines in the whole fucking movie, Smokey then goes to Debbie's house to talk to her about the girl she set him up with, and she's like, "Man, that bitch said she looked like Janet Jackson. She came out looking like Freddie Jackson." And it was so fucking funny, dude. And Debbie's like, "Oh, she did not go there." And he's like, "She came out looking like Freddie Jackson." And then he realizes that Debo's there at Debbie's house sleeping with Felicia, and he tries robbing him and try to get that $200 for Big Worm.
Great idea. By
Yeah, and there's a scene where he's got the straw, and it's like he's shaking and the straw's bending because he's trying to hold up his underwear. And then
some crusty underwear too. That's nasty.
Yeah, and then fucking Ezel shows up, fucking blows his whole shit up.
Opportunist, man. He just I saw an open window, so that was his excuse to get in there.
Classic Ezel.
And then we get a weird ass scene where Debo takes. He wakes up and nobody's there, and they barely get out. And he wakes up and he takes a drink. He sticks he smells the straw with both. He sticks it in both nostrils.
Does not like his own stench. Yeah,
but he still takes a drink. But
he didn't like the smell of his.
He didn't like the smell of his own ass.
I ain't that thirsty.
And then so they finally catch little Chris, and I didn't cover it, but little Chris. He's a little punk ass kid with his little gang of buddies, and they ride up and down the street on their bicycles, and they're knocking over trash cans when people set it out for it to be picked up. And they finally catch little Chris, and they beat his ass for knocking over their trash cans.
And he takes the belt off.
He takes the belt off quick, and he beats his ass. After that, Craig and Smokey realize that there's a car creeping down the street, and they hide from a drive-by. Mm-hmm. So that kind of
ends up being a false alarm.
And so they're kind of spooked, and they go inside the house, and you kind of see the clock counting down or counting up to 10 o'clock. And they hide inside, and 10 o'clock rolls around, and Craig goes to walk Smokey home, and that's when they get rolled up on by Big Worm, and they get shot at. And and then after the shooting, we're getting to the end here. After
automatic weapons.
Weapons.
Yeah, this is
some Tech 9s.
They had a
mini
van
Uzis
with the side open, and they were not playing around about this $200.
Yeah,
fun fact:
$200.
Those weren't paid actors; those were just Crips that showed up.
Yeah, yeah.
That scene wasn't planned at all. Yeah, they just went with it.
Yep. So after the shooting, everybody's kind of gathered outside, like wondering what all those noises were, and you got Craig's dad, Craig's mom, sister.
They all seem very concerned about him. That's what they didn't seem to give two shits about him the entire movie.
No, they're like, "Hey, where's Craig?"
Which I liked.
And then Debbie comes rolling across the street with Felicia in hand, and we find out that Debo beat the shit out of Felicia because he thought she was going through his pants stealing money. And she says, all these other people around here may be scared of you, but I'm not scared of you. If I was a man, I'd fucking hit you.
Yeah.
And he knocks the fucking shit out of her. And that's when Craig rolls up and he's like, "Hey, man, that's a fucking female." And so then there's like this standoff, and
Debo pulls out a huge shank.
Debo pulls out like a fucking bread knife.
Which he doesn't need.
He pulls out like a bread knife like he's going to cut some fucking ciabatta or something. So, then Craig pulls out his gun.
You could tell by the way he holds it, he's serious too.
Yeah, it's sideways.
That's sideways. When you know it's serious.
Sideways. Yeah. And then he starts thinking about what his dad said.
Yep.
He's like, "Hey, live to fight another day."
And his dad's right there. His mom's right there.
And they're saying, "Hey, give us the gun, give us the gun." And then Debo says, "Yeah, give him the gun and get knocked out like your dad used to." And Craig took a first punch, lands a couple body blows, and then Debo, of course, takes over, starts whooping on him pretty good, throwing him around, ends up choking him out.
So this is my problem with this scene is, which every mom would be concerned. She's sitting there, she's holding the gun, and once he's starting to get choked out, she wants to shoot Debo in the back, and she's yelling, and they obviously won't let her, and she's just like, "He's not fighting fair. He's not fighting fair." Debo was fighting pretty fair. It was Craig who started grabbing.
He took his knife and gave it to.
Gave it to
Ezel.
Craig is the one that started grabbing bricks.
So
people
so
with
I say
2x4s.
So like I call those equalizers when you got.
No, I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. Fuck Debo, but I'm just saying like,
he wasn't fighting dirty though. Yeah,
like.
So I wrote, Debo starts beating the absolute shit out of Craig until Craig commits attempted murder with a brick. So
you said catch?
So Debo chokes him out on the hood of a car, drags him down to the ground, and then he starts like turning around. He's like, "Who else wants some? You
charging
want
up
some?"
the little person
up,
neighbor.
And you can hear Craig's dad saying, "I've been down before. I've been down before. Let him get up. Let him get up." And then Craig grabs a paver, like a brick paver, and he's like, "Hey!" And he turns around, and he throws it, smacks him right between the eyes. Picks up a trash can, hits him with the trash can, and
turns into like an ECW match.
Yeah. So Craig finally knocks him out. And then we get another line from Chris Tucker saying he got knocked the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And then Ezel places the knife on his chest. He goes, "I steal, I don't kill."
Dude, I love Ezel.
And then he turns around, he takes his shoes.
That was the best. Like the ultimate crackhead move to take a guy's shoes. Like
which are probably like 5 sizes.
Oh, yeah.
Too
It's like
big.
a size 16 or something. Yeah.
After talking it through, he might be one of my favorite characters. He's
hilarious.
Yeah. Everything he does, it's just such an...
And he's got standards, you know. He steals. He don't
He's got
kill.
morals.
He'll clean that shit up for $2.
$2, man. What a deal.
So after that, Craig defeats Debo. He gets the girl. And then we get that last scene with Smokey.
Smokey calling Big
Worm. He's like, "Yeah, I got your money. And don't bring your boys around to roll up on me either." He's like, "I'm done with this shit. I'm going to rehab." He sets the phone down. It's like black, and then you see a lighter spark up. He's like, "What's he say?" He's like,
I'm just
bullshitting, man.
And you know this, man.
Yeah, and you know this.
Yeah, because the first time I saw it, I was like, he ain't going to rehab for weed. I was like, classic Smokey right there. He's just fucking with us. He's still.
And that was Friday. Probably one of my favorite movies ever.
It's really good.
Really good.
I think y'all said before this, but it's might be one of the best movies because y'all normally review some rough movies, for comedic purposes.
In my opinion, it's better to review bad movies that we shit on.
Yeah.
But to review a good movie that has like so many good lines, you can still do that.
Yeah, and we're gonna let Alex pick our next two that you guys can vote on.
Hopefully it's a terrible one.
Oh, I got to pick 2 of them?
Yeah, so we can vote.
You draw 2 so we can vote.
Okay, here. Let me grab another one. Oh, there you go. That one hopped out at me. Which is Kingpin.
Okay, that's a good movie.
Okay.
A lot of quotable lines. Yeah, tried to get Woody on.
Wrongfully Accused.
Ooh, that's a Leslie Nielsen movie.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
It's pretty good.
I know what I'm voting for.
Okay. I don't know what I'm voting for because I've never seen either one.
Really?
Nope.
I've seen Kingpin. I don't know if I've seen Wrongfully Accused, but
it's like a spoof of the movie like The Fugitive.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's not a serious. Well, I guess Kingpin isn't.
No, they're both like slapstick.
He wrote down funny ones and I wrote down serious ones that like I haven't seen.
Yeah, I was like, bro, we're not gonna watch.
Y'all like those, or do
Academy
you want me to
Award
pick something else?
movies.
No, those are fine.
Okay.
No, those are the movie ones. We don't really go back. Like what we pick is what we pick. All right.
Well, y'all should for sure review Friday After Next.
Maybe for your next time.
Or is it next Friday? Whatever.
Next Friday, and then
yeah.
Friday After Next, yeah.
Next Friday. I don't know about Friday After Next, but next Friday for sure.
I think the next time you come on, we got to do Dumb and Dumber. That's the one you said you wanted to do.
I'm down
so
for Dumb and Dumber.
We'll do that. So that was the movie review. I will put up the 2 new movie choices on Instagram. We can get votes on it. Thank you, everybody who voted. It was
double-digit votes, man.
Yeah.
It was a landslide, though.
Landslide.
My buddy David voted for Ghost, so I appreciate that. He's the lone wolf in that scenario.
I need to watch that movie.
It's a really good movie. That's what he said. He was like, dude, that movie just got like lost in mainstream. But
I feel like that's probably where the reason why is because I bet a lot of the people that voted probably hadn't seen it. Have you seen it, Matt?
Mm-mm.
See,
it's really good. It's not a movie we should have watched and reviewed, though, because, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like multiple stories that intertwine and on like a late night, like, with like 20-something, like early 20-year-olds that try to go to a big party. It's not a movie that we would review. I would recommend watching it, but yeah, it's not like Wrongfully Accused or Kingpin where we would have all these quotable lines.
Is that the most votes y'all have gotten on a movie?
Bro, we got like 12 votes.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're pretty big time.
Yeah,
hopefully we did Friday justice. And honestly, we didn't mention this, but we're doing this podcast on a Friday. It feels right. So.
Yep. Hey, look you there.
You just put that together?
Just put it together. I really did. Thanks for that. All right, so with the movie review done, let's move on to sports, and then we'll finish up with what are we watching and what are we listening to. Really, the only sports I want to talk about is Cowboys, but we do have Alex on. He's our resident basketball expert, so we'll get some Mavs thoughts from him. I know they're losing and New
Yeah, an
Orleans
update
right
on-
now.
Yeah,
Tonight's
I think,
game?
yeah, I think we lost. There was only
Yeah.
like 4 minutes left whenever I checked. Let me tune in real quick. Yeah, I don't know. You just want me to knock out and just say
Yeah,
that,
let's
like,
knock out some basketball and let me.
yeah,
take a
there's
break
not
for a
much to
minute.
say besides, yeah,
What are
we
barely
lost.
over 500 now?
I
Like,
don't know, dude. We're just
11-9 or something. We started off like 10-4.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's just not the roster. You know what I mean? We have to do something else. I mean, we lost tonight, 91-107, but to New Orleans Pelicans that don't have Zion. They did get Brandon Ingram back, but Luka 21, 10 and 7. Let me see here. It looks like I don't think KP played. So
Oh, that hurts.
yeah, and he's been doing really good lately. So
You got-
I'm just glad he didn't miss the game because I don't know if you saw he got hurt the other day when Ricky
Uh-uh.
Rubio was like barreled into the lane. He like twisted his ankle up. I was like, oh, he's for sure going to be out for a week, 2 weeks. He was back the very next game. So I mean,
As long as Jalen Brunson got his buckets and assists, I'm good.
yeah, Brunson 16, 3 and 3
I'll take it.
is what he did.
That was a solid pickup for me a couple weeks ago. Ryan, in case you hear this, eat shit.
y'all are matched up this week in our fantasy basketball league.
Yeah, now we got fantasy and basketball and football going, so
Yeah.
double shout out.
It's really hard for me to lock in on fantasy basketball until the football season is over, though.
Not me. I don't have much going on in my life, so just focusing on that.
But yeah, anyways,
It's
The-
tough for me to come back in.
yeah, because
Okay.
I mean the Mavericks are just they've been disappointing. Luka's always fun to watch, but we have like we gave. I guess our biggest pickup, I don't know if Andrew would agree or not, but is Reggie Bullock. He goes by Bullock, but until he starts playing better, I won't pronounce it right. I mean, we brought him in to shoot threes. And I mean, you're playing with Luka, who gets you the most wide open 3-point
Yeah,
attempts.
if they hit half those shots, Luka averages 15 assists.
he was 1 of 4 tonight, so he made one of them. It's like, dude, you're getting open shots. Just drain something. So
When that's your big offseason acquisition, yeah, your expectations aren't going to be that high.
I feel like we're slowly losing Luka. Like if we can't put a team around him, like
Oh yeah,
where he's not going to be a Dirk, where he's going to be here for 20 years.
he was. He's competitive. You know, he wants to win. That's for sure. So.
Yeah.
He's also a very loyal person though, but it's loyal to Slovenia and to like Real Madrid. Like some those people, I don't know if he has that same loyalty when it comes to the NBA. Yet to be seen. You know, I'm hoping he does. But I'm with you. You know, it could take a little while, but we did just change a lot of stuff up in the front office and with the coach and stuff. I do
Yeah.
like what Kidd's been doing. I didn't think I would, but Jason Kidd has been a pretty decent head coach as of late. I like some of the moves he does late game and things like that, but there's not much you can do when you know you're getting the performance of some of these players. He switched up with the Bullock struggling. Who was playing off the bench and Tim Hardaway was starting. He switched those and brought Tim Hardaway off the bench and starting Bullock to try to fix that issue, which it looks like Tim Hardaway had 12 points tonight, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So, I mean, Tim Hardaway is always going to get buckets, but it's just Bullock is really hurting us.
and
right
he could
now.
be that guy that comes off the bench and kind of like it's his team while he's on the court while Luka or KP
just him and
rest.
Brunson like going at it.
That'd be
you
a
know,
great
just
second unit duo.
Which
Yeah.
you know,
Back on Luka though, my biggest fear is like he goes to the fucking Lakers in like 4 or 5 years.
I don't know. I don't want to think about that.
I mean, like I know he could go anywhere when he's
Yeah.
a free agent, but it's like just don't go to the fucking Lakers.
I mean, just hopefully anytime the Mavericks post something about Dirk, he'll on Instagram or whatever, he'll repost it and then put like the goat emoji. He like really sincerely seems to like Dirk, and you know
who doesn't like Dirk though?
yeah, obviously, but saying and then you know Giannis had the big decision in the offseason or last season I guess, ended up winning the title, but stayed with Milwaukee.
But his team, they built a good team around him too.
Yeah.
They made not deep playoff runs, but they were consistently a playoff 50-win team.
Yeah. So I mean, but just hopefully, like what you were saying with earlier, with like Damian Lillard being loyal and stuff. I don't know. Just hopefully some of that stuff kind of.
But again, like you
we
said,
start
he's
going
very
into those.
competitive.
Yeah.
He wants to win. He's still young though.
Hopefully he has the mentality though that's like, I got to do it with this team,
Yeah, what is he, 23 right now? It's
I
like,
don't even know if he's turned 23 yet.
So-
He still might be 22.
I think it's in February.
Yeah,
Is that
so
his birthday?
I think he's 22.
So
He's about to be
he'll
23.
turn
yeah.
23. It's like, come on, man. Like, still young. Work with us here.
He doesn't show. I don't think he's shown any signs of that, of like wanting to go
Why don't
anywhere.
we just call him, ask him ourselves right now?
And he just signed a 5-year contract, So
Yeah, but NBA can tell you superstars can.
oh,
force their
without a
way
doubt,
out.
yeah. But I don't know. I don't see it yet. I just think that it's growing pains, man. You can't win right off the bat. Jordan didn't do it. None of the greats did it right off the bat, besides Duncan. But
Duncan came into a great situation.
Exactly, he came into a great
He
situation.
came in off the back of David Robinson.
Absolutely,
with one of maybe the greatest basketball coach of all time.
yeah. So I mean, it's just everyone just wants a quick ring in the NBA nowadays, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't try to like ring chase. It's like stick to the process.
So yeah,
Tom
that's it.
will tell.
So that was a little Mavs talk. Let's get into this Cowboy game. Like Alex mentioned, we're recording on a Friday. Dallas played on Thanksgiving, as they do every year. Lost 36-33 to the Las Vegas Raiders. So we get another Thursday game. We get the win in New Orleans, 27-17. Go ahead.
Did you see I heard it today on the radio. That was our 4th game in 19 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking tight.
Third and 12.
3 and 12, and then 4 and 4, 4 and 19.
Yeah.
Went 2 and 2, which, I mean, it's not ideal, but to play that close.
What was the other team that we beat?
That was Atlanta. Was in that
Atlanta?
streak. Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost to KC in Vegas.
So 27-17 was the final. Should have been 27-10, but they get a late touchdown there.
Yeah, garbage time. But we were also, this is another thing I said, we were 2-8 in New Orleans since 1988.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that
was our
during
first win in New Orleans since 2013.
a lot of that
Does that
was
sound
during the Drew Brees years, where him and Sean Payton were just so dominant for so many years. But let me get through some of these stats and numbers, and then I've got some things I want to bounce off y'all. We had 17 first downs. We rushed the ball 24 times for 146 yards. A lot of that on the back of that Tony Pollard 59-yard run.
And they counted that it was like a quick receiver screen to Lamb. The one that he took to the one, they counted that as a run. As it was it a backwards pass? So it was a lateral?
I guess.
Because I heard them talking about, again, they talked about that on the radio. They were like, take those 2 plays away, and we had like 40 yards, and we averaged like 2 yards a carry. So it looks good, but we both know that was a struggling run game.
Yeah, offensive line allowed 1 sack for 7 yards. Defense had 4 interceptions. A lot of that is to Taysom Hill. But yeah, so lost some possession battle by a couple minutes, but I'm not worried about that. We were 2 for 13 on third downs, which is concerning. We're 0 for 1 on fourth down. Dak Prescott, 26 for 40, 238, a TD, a pick. Let's see.
Yeah, I heard them talking about how it was like an ugly win, but at the end of the day, it's still a win.
There's no ugly win.
Yeah, exactly. They were like,
points.
it was an ugly win, and then that's what everyone was saying. It's like, but we still won, and we covered the spread. We won by 10.
Yeah, Tony Pollard had 7 rushes for 71 yards and a touchdown. Zeke had 13 for 45. CeeDee Lamb had 1 rush for 33 yards, combined with 13 targets, 7 receptions, 89 yards. Dalton Schultz had 5 catches for 43. Mari Cooper had 2 for 41. Michael Gallup had 5 for 36 and an incredible touchdown catch in the corner of the end zone.
2 incredible
He's
catches.
so good at that.
Yeah, I was asking Matt, I was like, do you think he's the best in the league at the toe drag?
I don't know.
Get defeated like that?
He may be one of the top 5 in the league at contested catches.
Yeah, that back shoulder fade for the touchdown.
He gets up.
That was classic Des Bryant right there.
So let me go through the defense real quick.
I don't know if just real
Go
quick.
ahead, no.
I don't know if he just hasn't reached his full potential yet. I know
Gallup.
that like at the beginning of this season, a lot of talk about, we just have all these good receivers that it doesn't really feel like Gallup's going to stay with us, right?
We can't afford it.
I just don't think we can afford him.
Yeah, he's
He's
going
going to be
get
so good
10
somewhere
to
else.
15.
If he get matched up with the right quarterback, dude, he's just gonna do so.
I could
good.
probably pick at least 5 teams right now where he'd be the number 1.
Yeah.
And most teams, he's a number 2. He's honestly, he's our 3rd best receiver. In my opinion.
And I've got a question for you guys at the end regarding our wide receiver situation. But the defense, you get interceptions from Jalen Curse, which was a big one because it took points off the board, at least 3.
Is that the one where they were driving and he was like parallel to the ground? That was an amazing catch too.
Trayvon Diggs gets his 9th of the year. DeMonte KZ gets 1, and Carlos Watkins gets a fat man.
Watkins
gets a fat man TD, which I'm all for. Micah Parsons had, he had 5 tackles, 2 solo, 3 assists, 1 for loss. He had 2 quarterback hits.
Did y'all see the stat they put up that he leads the rookies in sacks, tackles for loss, and QB hits, and he's also those are also top 10 in all defensive players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
As a rookie. Yeah.
I think
defensive rookie of the year, without a doubt.
that interception on the sidelines was caused by him, right? Defending the receiver, or maybe not. But I just remember him guarding someone down the field too. It's just he's everywhere.
Oh yeah, he's sideline to sideline. He's got that quick twitch off the edge. I mean, he's everything you would want in a defensive player taken in any round. But yeah, he's a first round for sure talent. And not to toot our horns, but me and Matt kind of talked about that guy like a year before the draft. That was who we targeted.
Good
all
call
along.
on that.
That's who we said we're like. There's a linebacker out of Penn State we should look at.
So I've got some things I just kind of want to bounce off y'all in no particular order. I think it's time to sit Zeke for that dude. Just looks like a dude who needs a couple weeks. The knee's not right.
Speed's not there.
Speed's not there.
He's a biscuit away from a fullback.
Okay.
No, that's what I was gonna. That's actually like the main point I wanted to come to the podcast with was that. It just doesn't make any sense, man. He is what I mean. I don't think Dak's playing particularly well right now, but Zeke is hurting this offense.
You could tell there was one run where he picked up an easy first down, but then he kind of like coasted into the sideline.
Yeah,
and it was like, yeah, something's up.
Dude,
it's that knee.
Well, he's got a bruised knee, and he wants to play through it, but
at what?
But if we're going to make a playoff push, though, it's the same thing with like resting Tank Lawrence for an extra week or 2. What we did.
Do you think the problem? Do you think that he's scared of losing his starting job?
No, because in the NFL,
why not just fucking rest and heal your knee up? We have the back that can fill in for the meantime
for a game or 2.
Yeah. I don't
get healthy for a playoff run, man.
I totally agree. I think that's what should happen, but I think that has to come from up top. Because if you ask a player, 100% he's going to go every time.
Yeah, they're going to want to. He's going to want to play.
He's going to want to play.
Yeah.
You cannot. You have to take his helmet. You have to make the decision as an organization.
And there was talk all week of that about limiting him, if not, not playing him.
And that's what I don't understand. Why Pollard didn't get more of the snaps. Mm-hmm. Now we'll have the argument of who's better, who benefits more, but from a pure injury standpoint and preservation standpoint, Pollard should have got more touches than what he did.
Well, we said the same thing. What game was that? It was either I keep saying Oakland, the Vegas game. I think Pollard was by far the better player that day, but they kept Zeke in the game, and we were like, get the ball. That was because that was the one where he returned the kick.
Yeah.
And we're like, he is feeling it today, man. Like, you have to go with the better player for today, even if Zeke could be the better running back overall, but if that's the hot hand, you ride that hot hand.
And Zeke does so many things that are so important for this offense. Pass protection being probably top of the list.
I agree.
I do not want Tony Pollard in there eating up blitzes because it's just he can't do it.
He can't do it at the level. That's why they haven't took his helmet, like you said, because they need him in there for that pass protection. But man, and I know you can't. I know you have to.
You bring in an extra tight end.
Yeah, like
you put in fucking Blake Bell
I'm with you.
to pick up that blitzer. That's stupid. No, let the guy rest and make a playoff run, like you said.
I totally agree.
Sorry, I'm just jotting down some stuff I want to talk to y'all about.
Well, I got something I want to talk about. Did you see that bullshit Rocket Mortgage donated like $10,000 for every touchdown scored for like the month? So they said they got $210,000 to donate to veteran homelessness.
Mm-mm.
That was like a big thing they said about. They made a big push about Rocket Mortgage was going to do all this to help veteran homelessness. So they raised $210,000, which is barely going to buy one house. Rocket Mortgage is $1 billion company. I just thought that was a fucking joke. Maybe y'all didn't see that. Because they made it was like Joe Buck was like hyping it up about for every touchdown scored for this month, they were going to give $10,000 towards ending veteran homelessness.
In today's market, 200.
That's the thing. They've raised $210,000.
Well, I think when they do stuff like that, it's not. I think the houses they build, it probably costs somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000.
Okay, but you're $1 billion company.
I agree with you 110%.
That's like me saying I'm going to give $7 to end world hunger. I mean, yeah, it helps a little bit, but if I could give more, if I had billions of dollars, I think I would actually. And then the fact that they promoted it on TV is like, that's a joke. I don't know. I just thought that was ridiculous. The 58-yard run by Pollard, y'all see that was the longest since Alfred Morris had it in 2017.
Yeah. And this offense just isn't designed to bust big runs like that.
That was a amazing play that he made too, because that was a pitch in the backfield.
Should have been a loss.
That he made like 2 quick cuts, and then a safety had an angle on him. He just underestimated how fast Pollard was.
I don't know what he was doing. He was safety? Like slow jogging it.
He thought he had the angle, so he thought he would just like cut him off. But it's like Pollard just fastest guy on the fucking field.
No, yeah, and that brings me to my next point. Because that play wasn't particularly blocked well.
It was an ugly play.
I don't know how y'all watch football, but I watch it a little differently. I have a little bit different background. I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means, any stretch of the imagination, but I just watch it a little differently. That play was not blocked well at all. And what brings me to that is this O-line shuffle we're doing. Mm-hmm. This whole thing with Connor McGovern or Connor Williams. I think at this point in the season, stop shuffling everybody around. Let's pick a line. Yeah. And I know we've had injuries. I know we've had injuries, and so you've got to do some shuffling there. But the whole Lyle Collins, Terrence Steele thing, Terrence Steele was having
he was out for COVID.
He was having a hell of a year. Lyle Collins comes back, and then you're switching McGovern for you're switching Williams for McGovern. I actually think this team runs the ball a little bit better with Connor Williams in there. Now I know he.
Why was McGovern in the game again?
Just coach's choice.
Just to switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid. You got to have a consistency.
We have
with
to
the
start
line.
now that we have everybody back. We have to start building some cohesion.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's coming.
Yeah,
from,
I saw that too. All of a sudden, I was like, "Why the fuck is Connor McGovern
I don't know.
in this game?"
I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know if that's Joe Philbin, the offensive line coach. I don't know if that's McCarthy. I don't know if it's Jerry. I don't know. But let's pick one and stick with it. And that brings me to Dak. Dak has probably had the worst 5-game stretch of his career. I think that's easy to say.
I would agree with that.
I don't think he's completely comfortable with his line. I don't think he's comfortable with the protection, and you can see it in his feet. If you all have a chance this week, go back and I don't know if you've got it recorded. If you catch it on the NFL Network, just watch his feet. His footwork just looks a little sloppy. It looks a little messy. He's not getting set. I don't know if he's.
Are we waiting to unleash the run option with him? Because there's so many opportunities where he could just take off and get a first down.
Did you see his ankle last year? He ain't running.
I mean, I think he's hesitant. Man, you can slide safely. Like
I don't know. I don't know. I think when you have that injury,
that was such a freak accident.
Maybe next year.
But his first game back, he was running a little bit. You know what I mean? Like he was testing.
If he's within the first 5 yards, if we're at the goal line, I can see a scramble.
I truly think that there needs to be 2 to 5 designed runs, because
like an RPO or a read option or something. Or are you talking about just like a straight draw up the middle?
No, just an RPO. I think you need designed runs for Dak, because that keeps defenders honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
let's
once you take the threat of running away, they know they can drop in coverage. They don't have to. They don't have to play honest.
It would help him. It would just help him.
It would
tremendously.
I think y'all would agree this wasn't the week to do that. New Orleans has a great run defense.
They have a top 5 defense.
Yeah,
overall.
they have a great run defense. So maybe who is it next week? Washington.
I think what Matt said about week. The last 5 games, though, he hasn't taken off any of these games.
Well, if he's not feeling comfortable, why is he going to run the ball, though? He's gonna give it to a safety blanket. He's gonna dump it off.
Roll
or he's
out
gonna
and see some green grass, man. Get a slide in there.
I agree. There are some plays where it looks like he does have green in front of him and he can run it. He just doesn't. And I've come back from injuries before, and I know what it's like not trusting a body part.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
like,
it's easy for me to say. I
see
know.
what happened to him
Yeah.
last year when he wrecked our season.
I mean,
so
there
he's
is-
like, I'd rather him throw it away than risk another injury. What, he had a shoulder preseason, he had a heel.
That's what I'm thinking.
Earlier in the
maybe
year,
we're
came back from an
saving it,
ankle.
but-
It's like maybe he's not trusting his body right now, but you know what? Throw that ball in the bleachers and live to fight another day.
I'm okay with that.
And that takes me.
Now, if we're in the Super Bowl and you got green grass, you
Oh,
you
he's
better
running.
fucking go
Oh,
for
he's
it. Yeah,
running.
if it's a playoff big game like that, yeah, I think then it's a different mentality.
Kellen Moore. Have y'all cooled
Oh,
off
yeah.
on Kellen Moore?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we were like head coach Kellen Moore, and now
Did we crowned him too soon
yeah,
because I felt like
we didn't screen him.
there was some questionable calls and game planning in this game. You're in the fourth quarter. You have, I think at that point you had a 17-point lead,
Is this the
and you're passing
first down run or first down play? Got 5 yards. Then we back-to-back incomplete
pass.
passes. Yeah,
I mean,
they were dogging them.
and
Joe
even
Buck and Troy.
was like, it seems like they're trying to keep him in the game. I just don't know why you don't.
That's a great
you
point.
You don't chew clock.
Yep. Especially when you get 5 yards on the first. That gives you 2 plays to get 5 more yards to extend
And
the
it
drive.
seems like sometimes he does have a tendency to forget about the run. But even he's not doing some of the stuff he was doing earlier in the year. He's not doing a whole lot of the pre-snap motions. Because what that does is that your pre-snap motions, that gives you an eye into the defense. It gets somebody in.
I don't know why they don't do that damn near every play.
He was in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows Dak is dealing with something, and I know the last 2 weeks we were without Lamb and Cooper, yeah.
Gallup's been out forever too.
Yeah.
But before we completely shit on the guy, he's still in his second year. Hasn't completed his second full year as OC. So
Yeah.
I'm not like saying fire the
No,
guy.
no.
But I see what you mean. Where we cooled off, where we're like, okay, maybe he's not our next head coach next year.
Because the offense hadn't been great.
No, I think we would all agree on that. We haven't reached our full potential on offense. Now defense, I was getting a full boner.
Okay, well, let's talk about that because I think I may have a hot take here. Is our defense good or is it opportunistic? Because if the turnovers aren't there, if we aren't creating plays, we see what Vegas does to us. We saw there's some other games where we kind of get gashed. Is this defense good or is it opportunistic?
We're headed into week 13, and what are we first in interceptions and probably top 5 in turnovers. I mean, we've had.
But
I think this had our 4th defensive touchdown.
But where's the rest of the defense?
What are you talking about? We had 3 guys get interceptions. We had a defensive lineman with a pick 6. We have a rookie who just set a franchise record in sacks. We got a second-year cornerback leading the league in interceptions, and he's already got 2 touchdowns. We got Randy Gregory coming back. Tank just came back. I think we got 4 or 5 guys that we can build around.
I'm not saying we can't build around them. Sorry, excuse me.
No, I get what Matt means though, because man, we just
I mean, we're not the 2000 Ravens,
we
but
just let up on some plays. It's like, man, what could,
bro,
what?
I was just saying, y'all got to remember, y'all are thinking like when people dog like Dak or Romo. Do you remember how bad these defenses were?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
In the past, and now we're like, are we really that good? I don't care, man. We're actually causing turnovers. We're getting touchdowns. We're getting pressures.
But
I'm
when
just
that-
ready
but-
to ride the wave.
But when that's not there,
We bend but don't break.
we're the
That's always-
16th. We're the 16th ranked defense. We are a middle of the road defense.
That's what we wanted. We said if we could be middle of the road defense, and the offense, which hasn't been firing, but the offense sees its potential, defense is middle of the pack. I think we're a top 5-10 team in the league, easy.
I agree. I'm just. The question was: are we opportunistic or are we good? The numbers say we're just opportunistic.
I think we're slightly above average. I'm not, like I said, we're not going to.
Okay.
But
So
you know
that's
what?
all Matt was asking.
I've been starting this defense in fantasy football for like the past 10 weeks, and I've been riding that. They got me 20 points again, 20 plus points. So you call it what you will, but they put up numbers, and we're not giving up, huge play. We did give up one giant play to end the game, which was stupid. But I don't know. I remember these defenses being like bottom 5.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we all
For
remember. We
years.
all remember last year.
Yeah. So you want to say we're 16? That's like we were historically bad last year. So if we can go from historically bad to 16th, maybe next year we're 12th. You know.
Yeah, I
those are
just
all
think Matt's
improvements.
asking the question: are we good? Like
We're
like,
good enough. Yeah.
Okay,
We're the 31st ranked pass defense
That's because a lot of times it's high scoring games.
because the defense isn't good.
Well,
They're
Kansas City
opportunistic.
doesn't have a very good defense, but they got a Super Bowl.
That's true. That's true.
No, but I like how you put it. We're good. We're good enough.
Yeah.
And I like.
Like I
and
said, we're not the 2000 Ravens.
And we're fucking exciting to watch on
Yeah.
defense. Is what I really like the most about
4 interceptions and a pick 6, and y'all are asking if our defense is good enough?
it. You're misinterpreting
Yeah,
the
I'm not
question. I
saying if
feel
we're
like.
good. I'm not saying if we're good enough. I'm just asking: are we opportunistic or are we good?
We take advantage of our opportunities.
Okay,
So
so we're opportunistic.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're not a great defense,
Yeah.
but we take advantage of the opportunities and we bend, but we don't break. That's
yeah.
a middle. That's a slightly above average
We're
defense.
we're the 18th ranked rushing defense.
We break sometimes though.
Everybody breaks sometimes.
Yeah,
though.
that you're 100% right. But first off, I don't know how the entire game looked for D-Law, but I was excited to see him back.
He was on a pitch count.
Yeah, and he had the one like forced. Well, actually, it ended up being a forward pass, but got after him. It looked really good. I mean, I just can't talk enough about Micah Parsons, man. He's so freaking good.
He, as much as I wanted, Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn or one of the other guys, and as much as we probably could have used a Rashawn Slater, or who went? I'm sorry, not Rashawn Slater. Who went to after us? Went to the Chargers.
It was Rashawn
Slater.
Yeah.
As much as we probably could have used Rashawn Slater, this is a guy that is going to be a cornerstone. He's going to be.
Well, he's that war daddy that
He's going to be.
Jerry's been wanting for.
A lot could happen,
since
but
since D. Ware.
he could be a fucking Ring of Honor, dude.
They mentioned at the top of the broadcast, but do you think he's in contention for like defensive player of the year?
I think so. I think if he keeps it up,
He does so good, man, with everything on the field. I know he's not going to lead in sacks.
There's not
But
many
that's- he's not
linebackers that
al-
get 10 sacks a
Exactly,
year. And I
he's
guess I
not
know he's
al-
been lining up on the edge, but Von Miller was an outside linebacker.
The amount of tackles he's getting, like everything. I don't think.
Well, he's top 10 in all those stats that
Yeah, like-
not only does he lead rookies, but he's top 10 in a lot of stats.
one more stat, and I can move off. But teams score 61.8% of the time against us in the red zone.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Love Dan Quinn. I love the energy he brought. Guys fight for him. They want to play for him.
How far do your stats go? Is that do we know if they're scoring like on our corners or like on passing plays or?
Let me see.
I don't know if you have that information, but I'd be curious to find out.
Silver lining, though, it's a first-year defensive coordinator with some young players. So you would hope
It's exciting.
we get better.
It's exciting. I think I talked to you about it, but LVE,
He's done.
dude is looking more like Jalen Smith every
He
game.
went, he was a second-team All-Pro rookie to not getting his fifth-year option picked up.
But we talked about neck injuries. The dude had a neck injury. He had another injury. Those things are hard to come back from.
But still,
that's
he's
from
like Jalen though. He's misreading angles and players are just flying by him.
bad.
Where
He's
before
getting
he was
blown up.
sideline to sideline, like you were like, damn, this guy's gonna be like the next Randy White for us.
He's getting blown up all over the place.
So yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna focus linebacker. I hope in the draft, offensive linemen and linebackers.
I think we need no linemen and we need a couple linebackers and then we just need to.
And don't forget, we got an extra pick when we traded back technically to get Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah.
Was it that
It was a Philly.
Was it Gold? No, I'm trying to think. It was Golston that we picked up with that third round pick.
Chauncey Golston. Yeah.
Yeah. So not only did we get the presumably defensive rookie of the year, we got an extra pick to move back just to select that guy.
Yeah.
I love Micah Parsons.
So talking
I
about
want that jersey.
Michael Gallup, would you entertain a scenario where we keep Gallup and Lamb and we figure out a way to get rid of Amari Cooper?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because as good as Amari Cooper is,
Yeah, and that's not me hating. I love Amari Cooper.
But you can't pay all three. I would get rid of the one who makes $20 million.
the dude doesn't practice. There's been an injury. There's been injuries every single year he's been.
Yeah.
Every year he's battling. And to his credit, he doesn't miss much, but he doesn't practice.
Well, they're just I don't know. It's just like, you know, his route running is crazy. He always seems to be able to get open. He's such a professional. His work ethic is crazy. So I can't say enough nice things about him. But CeeDee Lamb's only going to get better. His route running is going to be there. He's going to be that open guy. And then I think there's some real value in that big receiver that can just go up and get a ball.
He's little Des Bryant.
Yeah. So
Who can
I would like to have.
Drag the sideline with his toes.
That's another, and like you said earlier, it's like I don't know. I don't think I'm ready to say he's the best in the league at that, but man, he is damn good at getting his feet in.
Is this Gallup's last year?
Yeah.
His rookie contract's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in hindsight, they would have never made that trade for Amari Cooper if they knew they were going to draft guys like Cooper and Gallup and Lamb. They would have never traded a first-round pick for Cooper and give him a $20 million a year contract if they knew those two guys were coming.
Yeah, I agree.
So in hindsight, which I don't know, you have a better chance of trading the younger, cheaper player than the veteran who makes $20 million because you got to absorb that contract. But yeah, I would absolutely, if I could only keep two, I would keep Gallup and Lamb and save money on Cooper.
I'm assuming you would too, since you posed the question.
Yes.
Matt. Yeah.
I would try to find a way to figure that out, and
If it doesn't happen that way, and we keep Cooper, I'll be happy. I think that as long as he stays healthy,
which is why I would pose, trying to get him out of here.
I would look to move him in the offseason. Look for someone who has a young quarterback like the Jets or the Jaguars. I doubt you'd get a first because those picks are going to be high up in the draft. Maybe you get a second and a next year's like 4.
That's fine.
And you pair him with you could be like, look, pair him with Trevor Lawrence. That'd be a great quarter or running back for him to grow with. But I think if you got someone like that young quarterback who needed a receiver, ideally you make that trade for recoup a pick or two.
All right, so here we sit at 8-4. I think the 10-day break until next Sunday is much needed. It's a mini bye week.
Yeah.
A lot of it's a chance for Zeke to get right, Cooper to get some practices in. Hopefully Dak will figure out whatever he's going through.
Lots of guys need some recouping time.
Yeah, they need a couple days off. But let's run down the stretch here. We got Washington. We're at Washington football team.
W.
Yeah.
At the Giants.
Win.
W.
Home against the football team.
Win.
We got a big game against Arizona on January 2nd.
We could take that as a loss.
Yeah.
Be realistic.
And then we're at Philly to end it on January 9th.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, fuck Philadelphia.
It's in Philly, you said?
Yeah, because
In Philly.
that's the only, right?
What?
Is that the only divisional game? Oh, the Giants.
Yeah, we got Redskins twice. Sorry. We got the football team twice in 3 weeks.
But we have
And the Giants.
4 divisional games in the last 5, which
Yes.
is crazy.
You just never know what Philly team's going to show up. I can tell you firsthand for trying to start Devontae Smith. It's impossible to figure out what you're going to get from.
And the quarterback.
Yeah,
I mean,
Hurts.
Hurts has looked great in some weeks, and then other weeks
Well, last week he was making throws. It was Rager that was dropping balls.
Yep.
Rager dropped like 2 passes that could have been game winners against the Giants. Because Philly fans, I'm on a Reddit page. I don't know if you guys are on it, but it's the NFC East Meme Wars. It's a great page. Like it's just everyone's just talking shit and making memes on there. Yeah. But Philly fans were just on cloud 9 after we lost. They won and going into that matchup, and then they shit the bed against the Giants. So now Washington fans are the ones talking all big, thinking they're going to come back and win it. But yeah, for them to lose to the Giants after all that,
I don't even know who's playing quarterback for Washington right now.
it's Taylor Heineke,
Is it Heineke?
who's like a journeyman, and they made the playoffs last
He's
year.
playing in
with them.
the fucking XFL. He went to Old Dominion.
Yeah, Old Dominion.
Yeah.
I like Tyler Heineke, to be honest. And he dips. He's a good old boy.
Yeah.
No, he is. He's like a serviceable. Like they found a legit. Well, I wouldn't say legit, but they found a serviceable quarterback that could be like a stopgap.
So I've got us going 4-1.
Was that 5 or 12-5?
12-5, which is about what we had them.
4 seed.
Yeah, I think we got the 4 seed.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we got the 4 seed. I don't think we're I don't see Tampa Bay, Arizona, and Green Bay slipping up that much.
So looking ahead, that's probably a wild card matchup against the Rams.
Yep, which
I would imagine.
I don't want to see.
No.
I don't want to see it. I've got bad memories from like 2 years ago. When
They're on a 3-game losing streak, right?
They are.
But
They
I
are.
mean, the amount of talent they have.
Yeah,
on
but
their
it's
team.
McVay, it's freaking
They have
Stafford,
a lot
it's
of veteran talent.
Cooper Kupp, who is leading the league in receiving, and he's probably the best receiver in the NFL right now.
Did you hear? I guess it was the game I watched before last week with the Rams. Troy Aikman called Robert Woods a top 3 receiver in the
Yeah,
league.
I saw someone.
You hear that?
Oh, I didn't watch it live, but someone else came.
Yeah, I was
back.
like, bro, he's not even the best receiver on that team.
He may have been hitting the tequila before that. I don't know. I love Troy to death, but sometimes
That
he
was
says
very
some
hot.
shit.
That was a very hot take.
I feel like sometimes they're spewing at the mouth to fill airtime. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. I heard that and I was like, Troy, I love you, but yeah, that's a bad take.
Okay, so y'all got anything else on sports? No.
I had a quick question. Say the season ends right now. Both these guys are free agents. You had 2 offers: Pollard 3 for 24, or Zeke 3 for 36.
Pollard.
yeah.
All right,
pretty
Zeke
easy.
3 for 30.
Pollard.
Same deal. 3 for 24, both players.
Pollard.
Thank you. All right, go ahead.
I mean, it's Pollard.
Zeke's body's just breaking down. He was a bowling ball for 5 years.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing with like some of the safeties y'all were talking about in our Mount Rushmore earlier. It's just some players just how they play the game. It's just physicality and just throwing their body around and just reckless kind of playing, and that's how Zeke came into the league. Just dishing out hits. Not just taking them, and that's just,
He's a bruiser.
That's how he plays, and that it's unless it takes a special type of person to really to have a long career playing that way, and it's very rare to see it.
Well, the average lifespan of a running back in the NFL is like 4.5 years.
Yeah, and that's why I take a shit. I don't take a shit on Zeke. I take a shit that we gave him a second contract.
Yeah.
That's where I think we made our mistake.
Yeah.
I don't think you should give hardly any running backs a second contract because you can find these guys and it's day 2 or day 3 of the draft and make them instant starters.
I agree. I'm not anti-running.
Like Jeff Kavanaugh, that we love on the fan. He
not-
is all about that. Draft a running back every 3 years and just never give second contracts, just fresh legs constantly.
I'm not, and I'll steal it from Jeff Kavanaugh. I'm not anti-running back. I'm anti-paying running backs.
Yeah, paying him big money. Yeah, exactly. So that's my thing. I know I shit on Zeke, but he's been a great player he'll probably make Ring of Honor, I think he'll be in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
But it's the second contract.
He just
where it breaks
he
down.
does all the little stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, and it doesn't pop off the screen to just your average fan.
Oh, yeah.
No,
He
I
does
agree.
so many little things.
I think some of them even do pop off the screen where you can
Shit,
see
that
where
blitz pickup in Atlanta,
Yeah.
they showed that highlight all
Blew
week.
that dude up.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Totally Pollard couldn't do that.
No. Again, one more thing. We're talking about Zeke. Why in the fuck are we throwing Zeke on a slant pattern when he's got a bum knee in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
up 17?
that
Was the dumbest fucking shit I've ever. That's Kellen Moore sniffing himself.
that's
Getting
exactly
too
what I was
cute.
going to say. Kellen Moore is like getting cute.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I'd throw
unnecessary.
Pollard maybe, but I'm not throwing a running back.
Up 17 and fourth, I'm not really throwing the ball at all.
No, I'm chewing clock.
Yeah, chewing clock, running it.
But anyway, we can move on. Let's move on to what are we watching, what are we listening to, and we'll get out of here because we are at an all-time record pace right now.
I'm going to lean heavy on y'all for this. I'll just bow out of this
Dude,
segment.
I'll go first.
You got nothing?
I just been, like I said, I just been watching sports and
Okay.
I've been listening to a lot of music. After y'all's last podcast, I was powering through some Black Sabbath at work and
Oh, yeah.
sweet.
things like that. So,
Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
just want to hear what. By the way, this is my favorite segment, I think, of y'all's podcast.
Oh,
I
man.
love listening what y'all are listening to, and
I didn't think
Bring a
people
tear to
actually
my
cared
eye.
what we thought.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I enjoy listening to the.
I hope we don't
the
come
odd-
off as pretentious. Like this is what I like, so you should listen to it. That's what I feel like. But I'm like,
I don't listen to everything y'all
Right,
suggest,
okay.
But I'm like, hey,
It's
that
some
sounds
good
pretty
suggestions.
fucking interesting. Let me give it a shot.
yeah,
know?
because if I need something, I'll ask
Yeah.
Matt. Like, so what you got? Like, I need to listen to something.
Dude, there's
this week.
times where I've gone back at old podcasts and I just skip to the end. Like, wait, what was it that they said again?
Yeah.
So
I haven't been watching much. Me and the wife started Yellowstone season 1. Made it through the first episode, and that's as far as we got. And that was like 2 weeks ago. My wife
You talked about that with Ben.
is the absolute worst to watch TV with. For one, our schedules don't really line up.
Oh,
Wife's D-suck. Anyway, I've been stuck there. So I only podcast I listened to was Strangeland.
Yep, that was on mine. That was really good. Do you think he did it?
No, I don't.
I think those fucking glove fibers that they just found and that was planted evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was a murder in Koreatown in L.A. And I think they got the wrong guy for it. And I'd listen, if I don't have anything to listen to, I just go back and listen to Dateline, NBC, because they have, 400 or 500 episodes of nothing but true crime stories. And I just work my way through that. And I think I listened to a Rogan episode this week, or last week. I forget who he had on. It was really good. And then I'm not watching anything other than YouTube videos on how to fix cars. And yeah, watching sports. What did I watch? Me and Landry watched Santa Claus and Home Alone.
I tried to put Santa Claus on the other day, and Kayla was not having it.
Oh,
Did we review
great.
that one?
Santa Claus? Yeah, we did.
Yeah. We need some Christmas movies to review, man. Last year we were like,
4 weeks, 4 Christmas movies.
And we did it with Halloween too. We're like October. We're reviewing all these horror movies. Now we're gonna end up, one of these, which is fine. But
or maybe we should save those and do a Christmas movie next week or whatever.
I think we had a couple more that we didn't get to. Technically, Lethal Weapon.
I was gonna say like Die Hard or something like
Lethal
that.
Weapon.
Christmas Vacation.
Did we do that one?
We did.
Dude, I got that one right here. I'm ready to watch that again.
We did Home Alone and Jingle All the Way and
Santa Claus.
So I think we just did Santa Claus and Jingle All the Way. I don't even think we did Home Alone.
No, we did do Home Alone.
Nope. Yeah, so we watched Santa Claus and Home Alone because he loves Home Alone and Home Alone 2, which isn't as bad.
No, that's a solid movie. Goes to New York.
Yeah, it's good.
Meets the
Oh yeah,
future
no, I
president.
actually like that one. It's not
The
better than
Bird
first
Lady
one, but-
scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
that
Bird
crazy ass lady.
And then there's a cartoon that he watches. It's called The Loud House. It's actually a really cool cartoon. It's one of the few that doesn't annoy me, but it's called The Loud House, and their last name is the family's last name is Loud, and I think there's 10 girls and 1 boy, and it's from the perspective of Lincoln, who's the 1 boy, and he gets into all kinds of trouble and all that and mischief. All that ours picked that up.
Oh, I turned my mic off.
They came out with a live action Christmas version of the cartoon, so we watched that. And then Lauren is, they're not currently anymore. She went and took him to see Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah,
So,
Ellie saw that too in theaters and loved it.
Yeah.
It's on Paramount too already. If you have,
Oh,
you have
wow.
Paramount
Yeah,
because
Paramount.
of
Big Brother.
Which I don't know, but apparently there's a new Home Alone movie too.
There
I
is.
don't know if that's streaming.
There
if you've
is.
seen it yet, but
I haven't seen it.
sorry, my service.
That's my fault. I was just trying to get certain topics because what I've been listening to is this podcast called 1 Year, and it's I think they described it as people and events that shaped the year and America. So the first year was 1977. That was had Anita Bryant, who is a word I don't like to use loosely, but she's a real cunt. That was like very anti-gay and very against the gay movement, and used her platform to like just shit on all the gay rights that were trying to make her.
Dude, that sucks. I'm so pro-gay. It's not even funny.
I am. I'm pro-love, pro-everybody.
Oh, I have been watching. I don't know if y'all have heard of this, but Big Mouth season 3. I think it's season 3 or season
there's
4.
a show-
Season 5, I think.
Oh,
dude.
okay. I'm way behind, but the
I
new
actually-
season, and it's very progressive. A bunch of the characters are.
Hey, there's a show
lot of
called Big Mouth.
experimenting.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
So
I actually watched that first episode of the new season. It's about No Nut November.
Yeah.
And Andrew edging himself so he doesn't nut. I tried to tell Claire about it. She's like, that is the grossest show. Why do you watch that?
dude, it's so.
I love
vile.
John Mulaney.
It's fucking Nick Kroll, dude. I fucking
Nick Kroll
love
and John
Nick Kroll,
Mulaney. Yeah,
dude.
and all those guys.
Yeah, but just it's for real. A lot of the characters are like
Oh, it's a great show.
experimenting, and it's just a lot of topics that you would never see in any other show that are just actually kind of interesting. But
Yeah, you can only do that on like a streaming service. That's not a
Netflix.
network TV show. Anyways, back to 1 year. So it had this year's focus is on 1977, It had the miracle cure that came out that they said would cure cancer. It talks about roots. So all these different episodes are just events and people that kind of shaped America in that one year. The new season takes place in 1995. I listened to an episode about the man who didn't bomb Oklahoma City. It was this Lebanese immigrant who was an American in Oklahoma, and he was trying to fly to Jordan for like business reasons, but it was like the day of the bombing, April 19th, and he basically just got stereotyped and like questioned in Chicago, and then they were like, okay, you're good. They flew him out to O'Hara, or that's not O'Hara, wherever the big Heathrow, I think, is in London.
Yep.
And then immediately they were like, oh, you're really suspicious. They took him in for questioning. They flew him back to America. They said he was a suspect, or a person of interest, and just blew his life up. They put all his information out there. So his family just went through hell, and turned out he was just a normal guy who was just, got stereotyped. But it's all these different events. Like I said, they had 1977. They had the episode of Roots, how that shaped America in TV. Another one, Dateline, the thing about Helen and Olga.
I haven't started it yet.
You need to listen to that one. It's a 6-parter about these two women that would, quote, help the homeless. And I don't want to give anything away, but it obviously wouldn't be a Dateline if they were just helping people. Put on here, it's hosted by Keith Morrison, who gets my vote for 2022 People's Magazine Sexiest Man Alive. No, you're shaking your head?
Nah, just...
You wish you looked that good at 70, bro.
I'm pro. I told you I'm pro gay, bro. Whatever.
Bro, Keith Morrison, keep it up. He rocks those jeans and that leather jacket like it's nobody. Like the best since the Fonz. Okay? It's Always Sunny podcast. That one came out.
Yeah, is it?
It's just it's like this. It's like the three guys because Caitlin, the old bird, she's not in it. At least the one I listen to. It's just, and they're just talking about like they go over the episode and how like they came to write this episode and kind of shit behind the scenes. So it's just really, especially if you're a Sunny fan, just hanging out with those guys. Strangeland, which we listened to.
Strangeland, yep.
I had a listener recommend, Nicole recommend I Can Murder a Podcast, which was really good. It's like two British guys that it's kind of like Generation Y. They just go over cases. So they do a really good job. And then we watched this documentary on HBO Max called Meet the Donors, Does Money Talk? And it just talks about billionaires who donate to political campaigns and how that should be fucking illegal because they buy politicians, which buy legislation, which buys all these, how they want to shape America. So we're just basically, politics for sale, which is really fucked up. Watched every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode, every movie. We got the seasons. We watched a couple episodes, and I will be watching the Alabama-Georgia SEC Championship and the Monday Night Football's Bills-Patriots. I think those are going to be two great games.
Yep.
That's it.
You got nothing, Alex.
Nothing. I went and saw The House of Gucci.
How was that?
Oh, why did you say that? That looks great.
Oh, I liked it. It was that. I mean, Adam Driver, Lady
Adam
Gaga.
Gaga.
It was just really
Ridley Scott, Al Pacino.
Was Jared Leto in that?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, so I watched one trailer. Say funny thing. I watched one trailer. It's like, oh, that looks good. A few weeks passed, and I was like, I don't remember the trailer, but I remember thinking it looked good. Let's go see it. Watched the entire movie, and Jared Leto's character is like a brother character, and he's kind of the comedic relief in it. He's just super goofy, and he has this very like chef or like Mario like.
Were you gonna say Chef Boyardee?
Yeah, I was gonna say Chef Boyardee, but just this very, very, very Italian accent, and it's super stereotypical. And I was and some of the stuff he says is really funny. And then afterwards, I found out it was Jared Leto. I had no idea the entire fucking movie.
He's one of those
Jared
actors.
Leto is a badass.
He goes all out.
Dude, the acting in this movie
He was bigger, right?
Yes.
He might have put on the weight for all I know.
I could not tell. I don't know if he did or if it was.
He's a great actor. He really is. I didn't like him so much when I guess I just thought he was like a pretty boy who was like in a band. He's a fantastic fucking actor.
Dude, he's great.
Yeah, I love him.
They were all great.
That whole cast. Adam Driver is probably my favorite actor right now.
And a little Al Pacino on top of that. It's just it's perfect.
And then Ridley Scott directs it.
Yeah,
dude, that's a great movie you just watched. I can't wait to see that.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Alex, thank you again for coming by. I always love having you in the house. I always love seeing you. What?
I don't know. It's so good to see you, Alex. I love you, man.
Dude, you totally blew up my spot. Guys,
I agreed with you.
You laughed at me.
With joy in my heart.
I feel the love.
Well, from Andrew and myself and Alex, we appreciate everybody listening. We're out.
Gooch.
You say gooch?
Gucci.
Mics are still hot. Everybody's hearing this.